In a world of magic, a hero's journey ends. A young girl weeps, clutching the hand of a dying legend. Great philosopher. We flash back 500 years. The great philosopher lies on his deathbed, surrounded by companions of all races, elves, demons, beastmen. With his final breaths, he addresses a purple-haired girl named Nise. Nise, I want everyone here to listen. He struggles to speak, his voice a mere whisper. I. His followers lean in, hanging on his every word. His final confession shocks them all. I can't use any magic at all. And with that, his life came to an end. The story jumps forward 500 years, to the Grand Loran mansion. Here we meet our protagonist, a 5-year-old boy named Maisel Loran. Maisel spends his days lost in the massive family library, devouring every book he can get his hands on. Suddenly a cheerful voice cuts through the silence, Oni-chan. It's his adorable 3-year-old sister, Larsa, running towards him with a huge book. Larsa, please read me a book. Maisel smiles, happy to oblige. Of course, wait. He takes a closer look at the book and his eyes go wide. Is that Everything About Wind Power, the Advanced Edition? He looks at his little sister in disbelief. Larsa, did you read the beginner's edition all by yourself? She beams, yeah. Maisel is completely floored. He pulls her into a tight hug, shouting, you're a genius. He pulls back, a thought striking him. Then can't you just read this one by yourself? Larsa shakes her head. Nope. She gives him the ultimate puppy dog eyes. Larsa wants Oni-chan to read it. Maisel's big brother heart stands no chance. He melts instantly. Is that so? Then I'll read it to you. But then he remembers his own shortcomings and hesitates. Oh, but... He looks away, his voice quiet. I'm someone who can't use magic, teaching you would be. Larsa immediately jumps to his defense. That's not true, mother and father said so. Her eyes sparkle with unwavering faith. You're the great philosopher reborn, someday you'll be the hero who carries the world on his back. Maisel thinks to himself about the legend she's talking about. The great philosopher of O, the world's greatest magician from 500 years ago, who famously had zero magic. This legendary figure was respected by everyone, humans, beastmen, and demi-humans alike. And his entire family, especially Larsa, is completely convinced that he, Maisel, is that philosopher reincarnated. He smirks to himself because they're not wrong. Well, I am that actual great philosopher reincarnated. But there's a catch. Even after reincarnating, my magic power is still zero. He tries with all his might to cast a simple spell, but absolutely nothing happens. He admits, I used to resent God, feeling left out in this world of magic, but... He glances over at his sister. Her innocent smile changes everything. I have the world's cutest little sister, so oh well. Still, one thing bugs him, but I never used magic before, so why am I still known as the greatest philosopher even 500 years later? He thinks back to what his family always tells him. He remembers his father, Manhwa Loran, the powerful feudal lord of this territory, telling him as a child, son, your name will someday be well known to the world. Maisel adores his honest and wild father. He recalls trying to tell his dad the truth, but father, I really, only to be cut off. Back in the present, his father reads from a history book. The great philosopher said this as his last words, I can't use magic. Maisel's eyes widen in shock as his father continues. He internally panics. I did say that. I certainly said I can't use magic in front of Nise and my companions. So how did the story get so twisted? His father explains, Nise Loran, our ancestor who was at his deathbed, interpreted his words like this. Manhwa reads Nise's interpretation. The more I learn about magic, the deeper its meaning gets. I never used magic in its truest meaning. Hearing this, Maisel's rage boils over and he slams his hand on the desk, snapping it in two. That guy. His father just glances over. This desk must have been old. Meanwhile, Maisel is fuming. I meant it word for word, he distorted my words too much. He lets out an exhausted sigh. Manhwa, oblivious, gets fired up. Being in the same situation as the great philosopher at age 5, it must be fate. He then ruffles Maisel's hair. Jokes aside, have confidence in yourself. He gestures to the library. You've read all 10,000 books in this mansion in just 2 years. His father's eyes gleam with pride. Even though you have no magic, your diligence is what I'm proud of. Maisel looks up, his father's words sinking in. Manhwa pats both his children. Well then, Larsa, make sure you learn from your brother. The second their father is gone, Larsa turns to Maisel with a determined look. All right, what should we read next? Maisel asks, but Larsa has other plans. First, I want you to teach me magic. She stares him down. No, I don't want to read, I want to see your magic. And just like that, they're in the mansion's courtyard, standing before training dummies. Larsa unleashes her secret weapon, teary, pleading eyes. Does Big Brother hate me? Maisel breaks into a cold sweat. She guilted me into coming, she's too cute. To break the tension, Larsa steps forward. I'll go first. She closes her eyes and begins her chant. Forest tranquility, engraved sky, the wind's scar chase away the blade. Her eyes snap open as she unleashes her spell, Arrow Cutter. A razor-sharp blade of wind flies out, cleanly slicing the arm off the training dummy. She turns back to him, beaming. You're next, Oni-chan. Maisel claps enthusiastically. Wow, as expected of Larsa. But his praise isn't enough to distract her. Her smile fades and her eyes begin to well up with tears. Oni-chan, why are you lying? She asks, her voice trembling. Maisel is stunned. Larsa continues, I saw you slammed that doll with magic. Maisel remembers. He'd gotten frustrated that he couldn't use magic on the dummy. So he tested out his powers on it instead. Larsa gets right in his face, her patience gone. Her eyes are practically sparkling with desperate curiosity. Larsa wants to see Oni-chan's magic. Maisel is trapped, he can't say no to that face. He sighs in defeat. Larsa. He leans in, are you sure you can keep a secret? Promise not to tell anyone, not even mother and father. Larsa nods frantically. Yes, I can. She watches him with unwavering focus. Maisel steals his resolve. All right, he says, just a little bit. Larsa practically explodes with excitement. Maisel takes a firm step forward. He squares up against the remaining training dummy. He thinks to himself, I wanted to keep this a secret, but if it's my cute sister's wish. In a flash, he makes a simple chopping motion with his hand. The entire dummy is instantly diced into clean slices, which clatter to the ground. Larsa is speechless, completely frozen in awe. Maisel facepalms, realizing his mistake. Oh no, I must have overdone it. Larsa finally finds her voice, squealing with delight. Wow, amazing, even father couldn't break that. She looks at him with pure admiration. So you really are the rebirth of the greatest philosopher. Maisel just sweats and laughs nervously. Haha, I don't know about that. He's more worried about the mess. Putting that aside, I broke the doll again, but Larsa remembers something else. But Oni-chan can fix that too, right? I saw that too. With a sigh, Maisel gathers the pieces and holds them together. In an instant, the dummy reassembles itself perfectly. Larsa gasps, amazing, is this repair magic? Maisel just plays along, right, that was repair. But in his mind, he knows the truth, it's not magic at all. Larsa then points out that Maisel can just fix the dummy like he did before. With a sigh, Maisel gathers the broken pieces and effortlessly reassembles the training dummy. There, he says, patting it back into place. Larsa's eyes sparkle with awe, amazing just like before. She immediately asks, is this repair magic? Maisel, caught off guard, stammers, right, that was repair. He almost tells her the truth, thinking to himself, well actually, it's not magic, it's. But before he can explain, Larsa interrupts him. Hey, Oni-chan. Looking up at him with pure admiration, she asks, if I study and practice hard, will I be like Oni-chan someday? Seeing her innocent, hopeful face, Maisel decides to just play along. Of course, you'll surely be the best magician. His words fill Larsa with a radiant happiness. Fired up, she clenches her fists. I'll practice more and more. Maisel smiles, yes. 2 years pass in the Loran territory. In the town square, some local kids are showing off their magic. One proudly conjures a tiny flame on his fingertip. Look, I can make fire appear on my fingers. Another boy chants an incantation, creating a slightly more impressive fireball. The origin of a blaze, the red-hot crimson fire bolt. Maisel, now 7 years old, steps forward with a 5-year-old Larsa looking unimpressed. You guys are amateurs, Larsa can do so much more. Larsa takes a deep breath, her focus absolute as she begins her chant. Howling forest, sealed sky, murmuring wind. She unleashes her power with a shout. Wind break. A razor-sharp blade of wind slices through the air, snapping the other boy's stick clean in two. The boy is left speechless, staring at the smoldering remains of his stick. The other kids are so impressed that one of them immediately proposes marriage, being able to use such strong magic. Please marry me. Suddenly, a very serious-looking Maisel appears, arms crossed. His overprotective big brother instincts kick into overdrive. Larsa is only 5 years old, becoming a bride. It's still 2, he stammers while Larsa looks on, completely oblivious. Maisel's mind flashes to a terrifying future where a grown-up Larsa tells him she's getting married. The vision sends him into a full-blown panic attack. I'll never let her be a bride. His dramatic outburst completely freaks out the other kids, who try to comfort a confused Larsa. Once the chaos dies down, one of the boys turns to Maisel. That reminds me, are you able to use magic now? Maisel smiles cheerfully, not a hint of shame in his voice. I still can't use magic. The kids murmur amongst themselves. Ah, I see, as expected, having 0 magic. So the rumors were true, one of them says. Larsa immediately gets defensive. What rumor? She stands proudly in front of her brother. Maisel is a late bloomer, that's all. He'll become a great philosopher in the future. Her fierce loyalty inspires the other kids, who quickly offer their support. Maisel awkwardly thanks them. Larsa looks at her brother with unwavering faith. Oni-chan is actually great. Just then Maisel spots one of his friends, Negame, walking dejectedly down the street. He calls out, hey Negame, let's play together. But Negame barely looks up, declining the offer. Sorry, I don't want it today. Maisel wonders what's wrong, and another boy explains, it must be because of what happened to the fields. He elaborates that green wolves have been attacking, destroying the crops and even damaging Negame's house. A concerned townsman approaches Maisel. Did you hear anything from the feudal lord? Is this going to be solved? Maisel's expression turns serious as he processes the gravity of the situation. He relays what little information he has. My father is coming up with countermeasures, but in terms of solving the problem, sorry. As the man leaves, Larsa points out the economic threat. In wheat is Loran territory's specialty product. If the attacks continue, it will be a disaster. Maisel's mind is already racing, connecting the dots. For green wolves to come out of the forest in such numbers, something must be driving them out. He realizes what he has to do. That night, Maisel slips away from the mansion. He can't stand by while his friend and his territory suffer. He's going to investigate the source of the problem himself. Good grief, he mutters, dashing into the dark forest. Suddenly, he senses something and stops dead in his tracks. He continues cautiously, 200 steps ahead. That's strange. He pushes deeper into the woods. And then he skids to a halt. His eyes widen in disbelief. That's. Peeking from behind a tree, he witnesses a horrifying sight, a monstrous spider feasting on the corpse of a green wolf. He instantly recognizes the beast. It's a death spider, the true culprit behind the attacks. Despite the danger, Maisel remains calm. Well, what to do? He weighs his options. If I let the guild know, they'll know that I left town without telling anyone. He makes his decision. Okay, then. A cold, determined look crosses his face. I'll just defeat it with my power. Maisel steps into the clearing, confronting the giant monster. The death spider lets out a piercing shriek and immediately charges at him. Maisel stands his ground, completely unfazed. The spider lunges, its massive legs poised to strike. But instead of a physical blow, it prepares a different kind of attack. It opens its maw and unleashes a stream of black liquid. The viscous fluid is a potent neurotoxin. Maisel is hit head-on, completely drenched in the poison. Ugh. He casually spits some out. Bleh, I got some in my mouth. The spider looms over him, expecting its prey to be paralyzed. It seems to mock the boy, thinking he should be helpless. After all, a single drop of its neurotoxin is enough to incapacitate any normal creature. But Maisel just wipes his chin. He stands up with a smirk, completely unharmed. Poison doesn't work on me. He explains to the baffled monster, in my past life, I trained really hard, so I have antibodies for various types of poisons. His eyes gleam. Okay, so it's my turn now. He knows he can't just kill it. I have to keep you intact. I still have to find out the reason for the incident. He raises his hand, if that's the case, with a sharp snap of his fingers. A single concentrated droplet forms at his fingertip. This is the best way. He flicks the droplet, sending the tiny projectile flying directly into the spider's body. The effect is instantaneous. The massive beast begins to convulse violently, its legs twitching uncontrollably. Maisel watches his plan unfold perfectly. He explains his method. While his antibodies are a medicine for him in extreme concentrations, they become a potent toxin. I multiplied the antibodies in my body by a few thousand, then shot it into your body. This was also part of my training in my past life. He clenches his fist, revealing the true name of his incredible ability. That is my power, physics. The death spider lies on the ground, neutralized but still alive. Maisel turns away, his work here done for now. I'm glad it worked. Now, he says, ready for the next step. The legend of the young philosopher was only just beginning. At the local adventurers guild, things are tense. The guild master Dodrejev stands with his arms crossed, a grim expression on his face. He thinks to himself, damages are only increasing, and we have a severe shortage of adventurers. On top of that, getting backup from other regions is impossible right now. Suddenly, a staff member bursts through the door, shouting his name. She yells the death spider in the West Forest was subdued. Dodrejev, lost in his own worries, barely registers her words. Yeah, the death spider, huh? Listen to me compared to that other thing in the West Forest. The weight of her announcement finally hits him and he spins around in shock. Wait, the death spider was subdued. In the main hall, the massive carcass of the monster lies before him, silencing all doubt. It's actually the death spider, he mutters in disbelief. An adventurer reports a team of D rankers found it. It was just the corpse though, they didn't fight it. Dodrejev inspects the creature's pristine shell. What kind of magic was used? There isn't a single scratch on it, it seems like it was. His mind races, connecting the dots. Poison magic, and a potent one at that, if someone really took down a death spider with poison. A single, legendary title comes to his mind. This has to be the work of the Zero Philosopher. Meanwhile, deep in a forest, the very boy responsible is out for a walk. With him are his father Madnai and his sister Larsa. Madnai remarks, they say all the monsters in this forest have been wiped out. Maisel plays along, really? That's awesome. Maisel thinks to himself with a hint of relief, good, it doesn't seem like anyone suspects me. But his family has other ideas. Larsa declares, Oni-sama definitely defeated them all. Madnai grins, I was thinking the exact same thing, so was it you? Maisel panics, waving his hands defensively. That can't be, forget magic, I can't even use a bow properly. Seeing their disappointed faces, Manhua sighs, I see, it can't be helped then, but why do you two look so let down? Maisel lets out a quiet sigh. I really have to be careful not to use my full power around them. He reflects on his unique abilities. With zero magical talent, my power comes from pure physics. I can whip my arm at such high speeds that I create blades of air. The antibodies in my body are also a potent toxin, which I can secrete and throw as sweat. But it's always a hassle when people mistake my powers for magic. It was the same in my previous life too. Back then I was praised for performing miracles, even honored as the greatest philosopher. It feels like I'm lying to everyone, and I hate it. Just then a rabbit darts across their path. Manhua spots it. Ah, perfect for some target practice. He turns to his daughter. How about we start with you, Larsa? She eagerly accepts. Got it. Larsa looks to her brother, desperate for his attention. Please watch me, Oni-sama. Maisel gives a small nod. Ah, sure. She focuses, beginning her incantation. Green breeze, carved skies, fragment of wind become my blade. Air cutter, a blade of wind shoots out, striking the rabbit down instantly. Manhua nods proudly at his daughter's successful hunt. He ruffles her hair. Great job, Larsa, she beams. I did it. She's ecstatic. Larsa runs to her brother, fists clenched in victory. I did it, Oni-sama. Maisel smiles warmly. Yeah, you were amazing. But Larsa isn't satisfied with just that. Can you please praise me? She asks, wanting more. Maisel replies, of course I'm praising you. She continues to stare at him expectantly. Larsa pouts, her cheeks puffed out. Clearly his words weren't enough. Maisel realizes what she wants, maybe. He reaches out and gently pats her on the head. That was awesome, Larsa. Her face instantly lights up, a deep blush spreading across her cheeks. Overjoyed, Larsa giggles. Her mission for head pats a complete success. Manhua claps his hands together. All right, now it's time for the world's next greatest philosopher. Maisel looks up, startled. He panics internally. I can't use a bow or magic and I can't reveal my real powers. What do I do? Trying to deflect, Maisel says, I'd rather see how father hunts. As if on cue, a green wolf appears in the bushes. Manhua grins, accepting the challenge. All right then, I'll be taking down that green wolf. He gestures to his daughter. Larsa, back up a bit. She quickly obeys. Maisel points to himself. Huh, what about me? Manhua just turns to him with a knowing look. He laughs heartily. Maisel, you're a funny kid. There's no way the future great philosopher could get hurt by a mere green wolf. Maisel is troubled. Father, why does he have such blind faith in me? What if I'm not who he thinks I am? Ignoring his son's crisis, Manhua nocks an arrow. He pulls back the string, aiming at the wolf. Now then, future great philosopher, let me show you how it's done. But before he can fire, a massive shadow crashes through the trees, sending splinters flying. Manhua freezes, sensing an overwhelming presence far more dangerous than a simple wolf. His demeanor shifts instantly from teacher to protector. You two, get out of here now, he roars. Maisel is confused by the sudden change. Larsa looks on, terrified. A monstrous, heavily armored beetle emerges from the darkness. Manhua draws his sword. This is a heavy armored beetle. He plants his feet firmly between the monster and his children. This thing's too tough for you two to handle. Don't worry about me, just run. As Manhua urges them to flee, Maisel calmly asks, are you sure you don't want us to watch from the side? His father stops dead in his tracks, shocked. Larsa looks on, her eyes wide with fear. But Maisel remains completely unfazed by the giant monster. Manhua lets out a short laugh, truly the words of the next great philosopher, but... He turns to face the armored beetle, his back to the children. For now, this is too dangerous for you, just listen to me and escape. Larsa, terrified, grabs onto her brother's arm. Oni-sama. Maisel feels her hand trembling. He realizes his father's urgency wasn't just for him, but to protect Larsa from seeing something so terrifying. A new respect for his father wells up inside him. As Maisel pulls Larsa away, Manhua roars one last time, just run. With the children clear, he lets out a fierce battle cry. Manhua charges forward, swinging his sword with all his might. But his blade screeches uselessly against the beetle's rock-hard carapace. The impact rattles him. Gah, it's so strong, I didn't expect it to be so strong. Before he can recover, the monster retaliates. A powerful leg smashes into Manhua, sending him flying. He's thrown across the clearing, his sword clattering to the ground. With Manhua neutralized, the heavy armored beetle spreads its wings. Lying on the ground, Manhua can only watch in horror. The monster takes to the air, heading straight for the children. Maisel, Larsa. He screams desperately from the forest floor, get out now. The massive insect descends upon them like a shadow of death. It dives, ready to crush them in an instant. Larsa clings to her brother, crying his name in pure terror, Oni-sama. Seeing his sister's tears, something inside Maisel snaps. His expression darkens with cold fury. It really has the nerve to make my sister start crying, huh? Maisel unleashes a deafening roar. An invisible wave of pure force slams into the descending beetle. In an instant, the monster's armored body shatters into 1,000 pieces, raining down around them like confetti. Mad stares, utterly speechless at what he just witnessed. Larsa looks up, her fear replaced by sheer awe. Even Maisel seems surprised by the result of his outburst. The last of the beetle's shell clatters to the forest floor. Maisel stands protectively over his sister, a dangerous glint in his eyes. He quickly snaps out of it, realizing what he's done. Ah, Oni-sama. He turns to Larsa, trying to think of an excuse. Larsa that was. But before he can finish, both Larsa and his father tackle him in a hug, screaming with excitement. Amazing, that was amazing, Maisel. Maisel panics internally. I really screwed up. Because Larsa got so scared, I accidentally used my power. I raised the volume of my voice using constructive interference, making a giant sound wave. Mad is ecstatic. That just now was the killing voice of the greatest philosopher. Maisel tries to correct him, it's not as strong as you think. But his father just gives him a knowing smirk. So Maisel, it was you who killed the death spider, right? Larsa looks at him in disbelief. Really, that was you. Caught in his own lie, Maisel starts sweating profusely. He can't find the words to deny it. Finally he caves, yeah, although it wasn't that big of a deal. His family explodes, it wasn't that big of a deal. Maisel frantically tries to backtrack. They said the death spider was subdued using poisonous attacks, and supreme poison magic too. Mad just grins, hoisting a piece of the monster onto his shoulder. If that's the case, things are gonna get busy when we get back. And Mad had a plan. Back at their estate, he stands on a balcony before a massive crowd, declaring, let us celebrate, the reincarnation of the greatest philosopher, the rise of Maisel. Maisel's mind goes blank with shock. What are you saying? As the crowd chants great philosopher, Maisel pleads with his dad, Fath father, what are you? Mad booms over the cheers. This party is to celebrate the first hunt of the legendary philosopher Maisel. Maisel shouts back, you're going way too overboard. Spotting his mother and Larsa arriving, Maisel sees a glimmer of hope. Father, can I say something? Mother is here too. He thinks I'm saved. These two can talk some sense into father and get him to stop. But his mother only adds fuel to the fire. Father, why don't we make today into a new holiday? Mad roars in approval, that's a great idea. He immediately turns back to the adoring crowd. Everyone, listen up. Maisel watches in horror, his last hope completely gone. Let this day of the year be marked in history as the day of the first hunt of the great philosopher, Maisel. Maisel can only stare in abject terror. His horrified scream echoes from the grand estate. You're going way too far, father. In a world where science clashes with sorcery, one man stands apart. He's known as the greatest philosopher with zero magic, because for him, it's not magic, it's physics. Inside a grand estate, the young Larsa is humming to herself, trying to decide on the perfect dress. Suddenly, she spots her brother Maisel entering the room. Big brother. She happily hums, excited about the upcoming event. Her face lights up with a blush as Maisel approaches. Big brother, she calls out again, getting his attention. Maisel turns to her, asking Larsa what's wrong. At the same time, their father Mad chimes in, remembering something important. Confused, Larsa asks, will you be wearing your usual clothes, brother? Where are we going? The upcoming event is a true test of etiquette for the daughter of a feudal lord. Mad begins to explain the situation. Well, technically, it's a face-to-face meeting. It's a great opportunity to export RNA wheat to the Principality of Amas. If this goes well, he continues, it'll enrich Loran's territory even more. Maisel seems hesitant. Are you sure it's all right for us to follow you to such an important place? But his father scoffs, isn't it obvious? Larsa and Maisel look at him, completely puzzled. Mad launches into a grand speech, hyping up his children. On one hand, you have the miraculous return of the great philosopher, Maisel, and on the other, gifted with both intelligence and beauty, you have Larsa. He declares this is a huge opportunity to appeal to the most powerful people in the world. But Maisel quietly protests, I'm not exactly the great philosopher. Ignoring their father's theatrics, Larsa turns to her brother. Blushing, she nervously asks, at the ball later. Let's dance together. Maisel's face breaks into a wide, genuine smile. Yeah. Larsa is so overjoyed, she practically explodes with happiness. Still beaming, she tells him, my new dress. I'm looking forward to you seeing it. Maisel, completely missing the point, replies, if it's a dress, I could just see it here. Larsa's happy expression instantly vanishes, replaced by a dead, hollow stare. Mad sighs, I suppose even Maisel, the great philosopher, is unfamiliar with the hearts of women. Larsa hides her face in despair, whispering, this is the only flaw I see in you, big brother, but this is too much. Changing the subject to avoid any more awkwardness, Mad announces, now, there are some people I would like to introduce before we head out. He gestures to the door and calls out, come in. The doors swing open to reveal a squad of 4 battle-ready women. Their leader steps forward. Yo, we're the Cowhorn Destroyer Guards. I'm Katlia, she says with a smirk. The tall, elegant one introduces herself, I'm Arrow. The one with the witch's hat follows, I'm Frey. And the quiet, masked one finishes and I'm Ash. Mad and I looks them over. So they were all women, huh? Katlia immediately bristles, regardless of your status. If you underestimate us because we're women, you'll get hurt. She places a hand on the hilt of her blade. With a dramatic flourish, she draws her massive cutlass and licks it. My cutlass has sucked the blood of many pricks. And in the next moment she bites her own tongue. Ouch, her squadmates sigh in unison. She cut her tongue again. Elder sister, that's dangerous. Mad and I is completely unimpressed, muttering to himself, this is why we didn't have work for 10 days. If we don't make a move here, we're going to be underestimated. Having seen enough, he makes a swift decision. Replace them. Come on, Sebastian, the guards are stunned. Why? Katlia panics and grabs onto the feudal lord. No way, my lord, we can't have our guards stirring up anxiety. As Mad Eye tries to shake her off, Maisel watches the chaotic scene unfold. He thinks to himself, I somehow pity them. Maisel decides to intervene. Father, please reconsider your decision. At the sound of the great philosopher's voice, Mad Eye stops. Well, if the great philosopher says so. The guards turn, finally realizing who they're in the presence of. Their entire demeanor shifts from desperation to adoration as they swarm Maisel, fawning over the legendary figure. Overwhelmed by the sudden attention, Maisel bluntly tells them, please go away. Larsa sighs at her brother's social skills, then gives a thumbs up and casually casts Arrow Wind, sending the guards tumbling away in a mini tornado. Once they've recovered, a dazed Katlia asks her team, so, is the great philosopher really that awesome? Ash grabs her, absolutely scandalized. Elder sister, you don't know, he was the savior of his time, the one who defeated that death spider and heavy beetle. Katlia's eyes widen as she processes the information, and the potential reward money. Meanwhile, Maisel is just happy that this job means he'll get to eat a decent meal. Still, he can't help but think to himself, just replace them. Why? Despite the rocky start, the guards are hired, and the group begins their journey by carriage. Later that night, they make camp. As the caption confirms, the guards didn't have to get replaced after all. Everyone gathers around a large pot of stew. It's been a while since I've had a decent meal, Arrow exclaims. Maisel serves a bowl to his sister, who thanks him warmly. The wild boar stew bubbles over the campfire. The guards savor every bite, absolutely ecstatic to be eating such delicious food. They reflect on their incredible luck. To escort the reincarnation of the great philosopher, it's like a dream, Frey says. I'm glad I quit being a bandit, Ash adds. This gives Katlia an idea. Oh, by the way, did you know that bandit magic also originated from the legendary great philosopher? Maisel is pretty sure that never happened, but Ash eagerly jumps in. But the great philosopher's magic was created to help people. Ash passionately recounts the legend of how the great philosopher used his detection magic to find a labyrinth for a struggling village, giving them the tools to explore it, tools that evolved into modern bandit magic. Maisel, however, remembers the actual, far less glamorous truth. He'd simply stumbled upon a labyrinth by accident while helping a village of bandits hunt for food. He sweats, realizing with dawning horror, the story's been altered so much. The conversation continues, with Frey asking then, is Ash's trap disarming magic also detection magic? Ash proudly confirms yes. The guards continue to sing praises of the great philosopher's amazing magic, completely unaware of the real story. But their peaceful dinner is abruptly interrupted as a gigantic, hairy foot slams into the ground right beside their camp. As they travel, Larsa suddenly stops, her eyes wide. Big brother, there's something approaching us, be careful. Before they can react, a colossal beast bursts from the trees. The guards gasp in terror. It's a mount ape. Maisel, however, remains perfectly calm, observing the monster with a neutral expression. The guards are already panicking. Elder sister, fighting a mount ape is a bad idea, Arrow cries out. Frey agrees, shouting, there's no way we can win, but their leader Katlia stands her ground. We won't know if we don't try. Ash tries to quiet her down. You're talking too loud, elder sister, but Katlia just yells back, shut up. With a determined glare, Katlia issues a command, don't get too close. If you get caught, you're dead, got it? Watching this unfold, Maisel can only think one thing. Is this guy really that hard to deal with? Ignoring him, Katlia lays out the plan. Arrow and Frey, keep up the long-distance attacks. Ash, hit it with your favorite secret attack. Ash steps forward, gathering magical energy into her staff. Fire blaze, scarlet and crimson vermilion arrow. Flame arrow, she screams, unleashing a torrent of fire. But the attack hits nothing but dirt. The mount ape moved in a flash. In the blink of an eye, the beast's shadow looms over Ash. She looks up in sheer terror. A massive backhand sends her flying through the air. The others watch in horror. It's too fast. Arrow mutters it didn't even flinch from the fire. The mount ape smirks, seemingly thinking to itself they're too weak. Katlia grits her teeth, realizing their ranged attacks are useless. She makes a split-second decision. I'll go. We're switching, she yells to her squad. I entrust the feudal lord to you guys. Ash, bruised but conscious, cries out, elder sister, it's dangerous. But it's too late. Katlia charges forward, facing the towering monster head-on. As she gets closer, the sheer difference in power becomes terrifyingly clear. Her mind screams, see crap. Just as the ape is about to strike, a calm voice cuts through the chaos. Stop! Maisel steps in, throwing a casual punch. The punch releases a powerful shockwave that slams directly into the mount ape's jaw. The impact is so immense, it sends one of the ape's massive fangs flying. The cow-horn destroyer guards can only stare, their faces frozen in utter disbelief. With a final roar of pain, the colossal beast crashes to the ground, defeated. Maisel dusts his hands off with a satisfied smile. All right. Katlia stares at him, completely stunned. Gee, great philosopher. She grabs him by the collar, shaking him frantically. Forgive me, mighty great philosopher. Maisel just looks confused. That's not what I meant. Frey the mage begins to connect the dots. They say that attack could smash even orichalcum to pieces. She gasps. The legendary great boost magic, I've never even heard of it. Larsa beams with pride as expected from Big Brother, while Mad Eye puffs out his chest. You've created another anecdote for my son, the greatest philosopher of all time. Maisel just sighs, that's too long, father. But their celebration is cut short as both Maisel and his father sense another presence. The ground trembles under the weight of heavy footsteps. From the shadows of the forest, not one, but 3 more mount apes emerge. The guards completely lose their composure. There's 3 more, Katlia shrieks, we're doomed, mama. Mad Eye, however, remains completely unfazed. He simply tells his terrified guards, then, I guess you should take a look. As Katlia stammers, Maisel steps forward, his leg beginning to glow with intense heat. Everyone's tired, he says calmly. The ultra-high-speed vibration of my leg creates fire from friction with the air. Sorry, but I'll end this in one go. With a powerful cry, Maisel unleashes a devastating kick, sending a tidal wave of flames rushing towards the apes. Katlia's jaw drops. Arrow's eyes go blank with shock. Ash looks like she's seen a ghost. And Frey is just speechless. A massive pillar of fire erupts in the forest, instantly incinerating all 3 monsters. Mad Eye watches with a look of immense pride. Larsa's eyes sparkle, filled with pure adoration for her brother. Maisel lands softly as the flames die down. He looks over the battlefield, noting, the ground changed completely into glass. Frey bursts into tears of overwhelming emotion. No way, that was the legendary exploding magic, Giga Flare. She's so moved she can barely speak. I never expected to witness this with my own eyes. Maisel quickly tries to correct her, it's different, it's just physics, Frey. Larsa is practically glowing, that was wonderful, Big Brother. To cast wordlessly is a feat only you can accomplish. Maisel just brushes it off, it's not that big of a deal. The guards, huddled together, can only stare at the sheer power they just witnessed. They begin to process it, moreover without chanting. Arrow says, at that age he's pumping out magic of legendary proportions. Katlia adds, Ash finishes and explosive magic is notoriously difficult to handle. Maisel smiles, finally accepting his role. So this is the power of the reincarnated legendary great philosopher. His father Mad Eye is already scribbling furiously in a notebook. Another tale of the great philosopher Maisel is born, I'll write it down. Maisel can only protest weakly, father. On their way to the Grand Namurai Ball, Maisel's group travels by carriage through a relentless downpour. Inside, Mad Eye is optimistic. At this rate, we'll make it to Namurai without a hitch. Maisel just gives a quiet yeah, his mind elsewhere. But a sense of dread washes over him. I have a bad feeling about this. Suddenly the carriage jolts to a violent halt, throwing Larsa from her seat. Maisel reacts instantly, catching her before she falls. Are you okay? Larsa looks up, her face flushed. Yes, thank you, Big Brother, Maisel can only wonder, she somehow looks happy. The carriage screeches to a complete stop, confirming Maisel's suspicion that something is wrong. The stage is set for a new chapter in the life of the great philosopher. Mad Eye throws the door open, demanding answers. What's going on, Katlia? His head guard Katlia replies with unnerving calm. I'm glad you're safe, my lord, it's nothing. She turns to face the cause of the delay, just a group of worthless bandits. A hulking man steps forward, annoyed at being ignored. Hey, did you hear me? The bandit leader grins menacingly. Oh well, give us your baggage and rice and I'll let you live. Katlia scoffs in his face. That's a funny joke. Her elite guards, the cow-horn destroyers, draw their weapons. Get lost, we're going to give you a special pass for that joke. The bandit leader's eye twitches with rage. Oi. But then his men notice something. Look, all these escorts are women, and they're quite the fine jewels, just in time, let's take them. One of the grunts points towards the carriage. Boss, can I have that little one too? Larsa shrinks back in fear. The leader smirks, your hobby is still the same, but that's all right. Maisel clenches his fist, a sharp J escaping his lips. The bandit leader's laughter echoes through the rain. We'll take those 2 kids too, we want our own licentious land, ha 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 ha. Katlia's gaze turns ice cold. Is that so? Mad Eye steps out of the carriage, placing a hand on her shoulder. With his sword drawn, he gives their final answer. Well then, even a monkey can understand that we'll politely decline. The leader's face twists into a wicked grin. Guys, get him. Get the women and the kid alive, but kill the men, he roars as his men charge forward. Katlia is shocked. You're fighting too, feudal lord. A bandit swings wildly at Manhwa. But his attack is easily parried. With a single effortless strike, Manhwa cuts the man down. Ridiculous. He glares at the remaining thugs. These thieves are just like scarecrows. Katlia breathes a sigh of relief. If so, I'm relieved. She quickly takes command. Frey. At her call, Frey and Larsa begin chanting in unison, magical energy swirling around them. Maisel watches Larsa, noticing the intricate magical pattern forming in her eye. The symbol flares with immense power. Together they unleash their spells, Fireball, Flame Lance. The combined attack erupts in a massive explosion, engulfing the bandits in a torrent of fire. Panicked, the leader screams at his men, Arg, don't be flustered, shoot your bows. In the chaos, a terrified archer lets an arrow fly, accidentally piercing his own boss in the back. Arg, what the hell are you doing? The leader grits his teeth in pain. How foolish. Standing over the defeated bandits, Manhwa boasts, see, I don't even have to show you the miracle of the great philosopher Maisel. The leader falls to his knees, begging for mercy. My bad, this was too much, I'll turn over a new leaf, so will these guys, so please at least spare our lives. Manhwa looks down on him, considering his plea. I see, if you insist this time. His expression suddenly hardens. Just kidding, as he shouts, the ground begins to tremble and crack. Something bursts from the earth. Thick, powerful vines shoot out from the ground. Before she can react, the vines begin to ensnare Katlia. Damn it, she cries, but she's quickly bound and lifted into the air. Maisel watches in horror. Hey. In an instant, all of the guards and even Manhwa are captured, helpless against the monstrous plants. The bandit leader throws his head back and laughs. Ha 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 ha, you let your guard down, idiots. His remaining men cheer him on. As expected from the boss, he's truly the best. But the vines had also caught his own men. But why did we get caught too, he grumbles. Monsters can't distinguish between friends and foes. He turns, cracking his knuckles as he faces the only two left standing. Now, all that's left are the brats. Maisel calls out to him. Hey. Maisel asks calmly, why didn't you tie us up too? The leader scoffs, I don't need to bother capturing two brats. Maisel's expression darkens. Really, in that case you've miscalculated, ha. His eyes burn with a cold fury. If you lay your hands on anyone, I won't forgive you. The bandit leader grabs Manhwa, holding a knife to his throat. Oops, don't move. I know you're supposed to be the great philosopher, but if you move even a little, I'll kill your father. Manhwa struggles, shouting, listen, don't do anything. Maisel ignores the threat, asking a bizarre question. Is breathing also not allowed? The bandit is taken aback. Really? He asks Manhwa before turning back to Maisel. If it's just breathing, do whatever you'd like. Manhwa's eyes widen in realization. A confident smirk spreads across his face. Haha, I'm looking forward to it. The bandit leader is confused. What? Old man, are you crazy, to still talk like that in this situation? Maisel states plainly, then, I'll just be breathing. The leader waves him off dismissively. Have it your way. Maisel takes a single deep breath. As one of the captured bandits whines, the leader orders his subordinate, hey, watch over that kid first. With his eyes closed, Maisel stands perfectly still, focusing his breath while Larsa watches on, puzzled. Suddenly the bandits notice a change in the air. Boss, it's somehow getting colder. Boss, it's weird. The leader feels a chill run down his spine, sweat beading on his brow. You're right, it's been oddly cold since that brat started breathing. He whips around to confront him. Hey, brat. But it's too late. A freezing mist begins to swirl around the bandit leader's body. In a flash, jagged shards of ice erupt around him, encasing him completely. Maisel stands, his work done. The remaining bandits stare in disbelief. What the? Their voices tremble with terror. The boss is frozen. Maisel slowly exhales, a plume of frosty air escaping his lips. Manhwa and Larsa are overjoyed. Amazing, that was amazing, big brother, Manhwa cheers, as expected from the great philosopher Maisel. But Maisel looks down at his hands, confused and shaken. He seems just as surprised by his own power as everyone else. Frey the mage recognizes the spell with utter awe. An ice magic spread by the well-known great philosopher, the strongest ice magic, permafrost. The other guards are moved to tears. Permafrost, I was able to see it up close. I'm so moved. Noticing Larsa is oddly quiet, Maisel turns to her. Larsa. He places a hand on her forehead, concerned. Are you cold? Are you okay? Larsa's face turns beet red, steam practically rising from her head. No, it's very hot now, she exclaims, flustered. Trapped in his icy prison, the bandit leader can only curse his failure. Damn it, if I was able to steal the rice, I could have made money. Now freed from the vines, Katlia prepares to tie up the remaining thugs. Shit, now I will give you plenty of rope. With the threat neutralized, Manhwa dusts off his hands. He addresses the group, the captured bandits piled in the carriage behind him. Let's hand them over to the nearest town and head towards Namurai. We should arrive by today. True to his word, they soon arrive at the magnificent Namurai Margrave Castle. Inside, a maid approaches a young woman gazing out the window. Mistress, would you like to come greet the guests that have arrived? The blonde girl turns, her expression unreadable as she agrees. Yeah, Maisel's high society debut is about to begin. Having traveled far, Maisel and his companions finally arrive at their destination, the grand and imposing Namurai territory. They are greeted in a magnificent library by the head maid. Thank you for coming, she says with a polite smile. I'm Mesa, don't hesitate to ask for my assistance. Inside, Maisel tells her his plans. Then, for the time being, I'll be reading books here. Mesa, please take care of Larsa. Mesa nods, understood. Larsa looks up at her brother with pleading eyes. Big brother, will you return to your room soon? Maisel, caught off guard by her cuteness, stammers, why yeah. With Larsa taken care of, Maisel settles in for a quiet afternoon of study. Facing a mountain of books, he cracks his knuckles, ready to dive in. Just as he's getting started, a blonde girl carrying her own stack of books walks past his table. Maisel looks up intrigued and calls out to her, hey. The girl stops, glancing at his complex text. Do you understand that? Maisel recognizes her instantly. Is she the one who invited us to today's ball? He thinks, before smiling confidently. Yeah, but I wouldn't have been able to understand it without knowing the Surbendi definition. To his surprise, the girl pulls out a chair and sits right at his table. Internally, Maisel panics. She's sitting beside me, the girl introduces herself first. I'm Ira and you are, using his family's name as an alias, he replies, El Loran, nice to meet you. What are you reading, Ira? Ira shows him the cover of her book, Everything About the Great Philosopher Maisel. Maisel freezes, completely thrown. Seeing his reaction, Ira asks, are you okay? He barely manages to choke out a yeah. She smiles warmly. So are you interested in the great philosopher? Her expression suddenly turns dead serious. It's not something that I'm interested in. Her face then lights up with pure adoration. The great philosopher Maisel is my life, my everything. She begins to gush about his legendary status as the sorcery god who revolutionized the world, leaving Maisel speechless. She turns back to him. How about you, Loran? What do you like about the great philosopher? Maisel's eyes light up and he leans in far too close. Huh, that's the first time I've heard someone say he was physically strong. Which book did you read? I want you to tell me. Flustered by his sudden proximity, Ira shoves him back. Please stop. Meanwhile, in another aisle of the library, trouble is brewing. A pompous-looking boy has grabbed Larsa by the arm. Please let me go, she begs. Don't defy me, he snarls. Maisel's head whips around at the sound of the struggle. Larsa. Tears welling in her eyes, Larsa cries out, Big brother. A cold fury fills Maisel's eyes. In an instant, he teleports across the library, snatching Larsa out of the boy's grasp and holding her safely. The bully can only stare in shock. What? Maisel gently holds his sister. Are you okay? Larsa blushing nods. Yes. Huddled in her brother's arms, Larsa looks over at the blonde girl. Big brother, who is she? Ira steps forward. She's Ira, the one we're supposed to meet. Larsa smiles brightly. Loran's little sister, cute. Ira is taken aback by the compliment. In no way. Their conversation is cut short by an indignant shout. The bully, Lacuna Wagner, is furious at being ignored. Don't ignore me, Lacuna Wagner. He puffs out his chest, boasting, at my age, my magical power is already 100. My magic surpasses that magician. He then tries to play it off with false modesty. Oops, I've said too much. He strikes a pose, feigning humility. I didn't want to stand out too much. Maisel completely dismisses him, turning to the girls. Should we go? Panicked, Lacuna yells. Wait. Lacuna's eyes scan over Ira and Larsa, a greedy look on his face. He smirks, damn, isn't that girl cute? I don't know who the hell you are, but I choose both of you to be my concubines. Ira looks at him with pure disgust. Gross. Maisel can't contain himself and bursts out laughing. Larsa gently chides him, Big brother, it's rude to laugh like that. But Maisel is still trying to stifle his laughter. Humiliated and enraged, Lacuna seethes. Don't you guys know who I am? Just then, a calm voice cuts through the tension. Sorry for making you wait, Larsa. It's Mesa, the head maid. She arrives and immediately notices Ira. Oh, the mistress is also here. Lacuna's eyes narrow as he recognizes the maid's uniform. And you are, the son of the Wagner family, well, aren't you a well-educated servant? He connects the dots. Since you called that girl mistress, that means, Namurai family, Mesa smiles politely. It's natural as the maid of the Namurai family. The blood drains from Lacuna's face as the horrifying realization hits him. Ira steps forward, her demeanor completely changed, and declares her identity with cold authority. I'm Ira Namurai. Lacuna lets out a strangled gasp, sweating bullets. Maisel and Larsa watch, stunned by the sudden power shift. Ira fixes Lacuna with an icy stare. Lacuna Wagner, apologize to my friends and my maid. Lacuna freezes, his arrogance completely shattered. He grits his teeth, trembling under her gaze. Forcing a pained smile, he gives a ridiculous upside-down bow. Please forgive me. Maisel looks on unimpressed. With his apology given, Lacuna scrambles away as fast as his legs can carry him. Mesa bows to the group, I apologize for the inconvenience. Ira, however, is focused on something else. She looks at Maisel, finally connecting the dots. Maisel. She asks hesitantly, Maisel, the one rumored to have zero magic power? Larsa beams with pride. Yes, Big Brother is the current great philosopher. Ira's mind blows a fuse. She immediately launches into the exact same speech as before. The great philosopher Maisel is my life, my everything. Maisel can't help but shout, I already heard you say this just now. Ignoring him, she gets right in his face, her eyes sparkling. No way, I didn't expect to meet the reincarnation of the great philosopher. I'm moved. Maisel shrinks back. No tilde, too close. Completely won over, Ira gestures to the seat beside her. Please sit down, I want you to tell me your story. Maisel tries to downplay his own hype, saying, it's not that amazing, I just have zero magic power. But Larsa immediately jumps to his defense. No, I know a lot of Big Brother's great achievements. Ira adds, her eyes sharp with analysis. That movement when you helped Larsa just now. Space-time magic is the evidence. Both girls look at him with unwavering belief, completely convinced of his power. Caught Maisel can only offer a weak, awkward laugh, unable to deny their claims. Later that evening, the grand ball is in full swing. The hall is filled with nobles dancing under glittering chandeliers as an orchestra plays. The music fills the air, setting an elegant and festive mood. Maisel, now dressed in formal attire, takes in the magnificent scene. He looks around in awe when he spots his sister, calling out, Whoa, Big Brother. Larsa appears looking absolutely stunning in a beautiful ball gown. What do you think about this dress? She asks shyly. Maisel gives her a warm smile and a thumbs up. It suits you well. Larsa's face lights up, blushing with happiness. Overjoyed, she throws her arms around him. I'm happy, Big Brother. Just then, Ira joins them, also dressed for the occasion. The outfits suit both of you well, she comments. A proud voice cuts in. It's Maisel and Larsa's father, Madnai, truly children I can be proud of. Maisel grins back at him, hee, father looks very good as well. But the happy family moment is cut short when Maisel's head whips around. It's them, father, that voice. A condescending voice drifts over. Oh my, well, hello there. Madnai's face hardens as he recognizes the man. You are. Lord Wagner smirks, aren't you the Baron of the Loran family, the family who completely waned into poverty recently? It's Lord Wagner, and beside him stands his arrogant son, Lacuna. The two fathers stare each other down. Madnai retorts, did you forget we're both counts? Wagner simply replies, that's right, but... Watching the tense standoff, Ira remembers something. Come to think of it, the Loran family and the Wagner family have a bad relationship. A sense of dread washes over her. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Lord Wagner makes a shocking proposal. I humbly ask Lord Loran to allow our children to compete over the Namurai family's daughter. Maisel can't believe what he's hearing. Lacuna Wagner just smirks, clearly enjoying the drama. Maisel looks up at his father, who is visibly tense. The weight of the situation begins to sink in. Maisel is completely stunned by the audacity of the proposal. Madnai's eyes narrow as he considers the challenge. HRM, I see. Lord Wagner presses his advantage, feigning innocence. I don't know what you mean by that, I hope there's no problem here. Suddenly a new voice calls out to them, Maisel, Ira. A kind-looking man with glasses approaches them. He introduces himself with a warm smile. Ah, so you're Ira's new friend, nice to meet you, I'm Rice Namurai. Both Madnai and Lord Wagner immediately show their respect. Lord Namurai, there's no need to be so formal. Maisel realizes who he's talking to, so that person's Ira's father. He's clearly an influential figure, capable of gathering so many important people to the ball. Lord Namurai turns his attention to Madnai. Lord Loran, is this your son? Madnai proudly confirms yes. He then begins to boast, he's still young but his true abilities are becoming more like the great philosopher, causing Maisel to panic slightly. Father. Ira chimes in to support the claim. Maisel is amazing, he read difficult books with such ease. Her father smiles, you too, Ira. Hearing all this praise, Lord Wagner lets out a dismissive scoff. He cuts in, addressing Lord Namurai directly. With all due respect, even if he can read difficult books, it doesn't make up for the fact that he has zero magic power. He extends a hand, a wicked idea forming. Then, how about we have a magic duel between Lord Loran's and my son? The challenge hangs in the air, directed squarely at Maisel. Lacuna stares him down, a smug look on his face. Madnai and Lord Namurai are both shocked by the proposal. Lord Wagner taunts them. Oh, surely your son, the great philosopher, can handle a simple duel, or is there something you're trying to hide? Madnai furiously objects. Tonight is the ball, this is not the time to show off magic. Lord Namurai tries to defuse the situation. Certainly, I don't want a guest to be injured. But Wagner waves off his concerns. Don't worry, Lord Namurai. He leans in, his true intentions clear. I was just curious what trickery Loran's son used. Enraged by the insult, Madnai shouts his name. Lord Wagner. Maisel clenches his fist. He hates using his powers in public, but he can't back down now. Not after Lacuna assaulted Larsa and his father insulted his own. This duel is personal. Staring down his opponent with cold fury, Maisel's mind is made up. It's unforgivable. I accept. The stage is set for a battle between a magic power of 100 and a magic power of 0. In the grand ballroom, Lord Wagner throws down the gauntlet, his voice echoing. Let's have a magic duel between Lord Loranz and my son. A battle for prestige is about to begin. Without hesitation, Maisel steps forward, his eyes burning with determination. That duel, I accept. Rice Namurai gives a slight nod of acknowledgement. Very well, Lord Namurai, please be safe. Just as tensions rise, a new figure gracefully enters the scene, drawing everyone's attention. It's the Amos Kingdom princess, Milan Amos. How interesting, she muses, a magic duel between the rumored great philosopher and the Wagner family. The Loran family is stunned by the unexpected royal audience, the princess. A man beside her, General Garland, steps forward. Your Highness, I have the perfect object for this. Garland gestures dramatically to 3 massive robots behind him. How about you take on this magic golem that's used in military training, a weapon I created using 100,000 gold coins. Maisel stares at the imposing figures, a magic golem. The massive golems are wheeled into the ballroom, causing a stir among the guests. The crowd begins to whisper, placing their bets. He's the rumored reincarnation of the great philosopher. It seems the Wagner family's son is more skilled. I heard even top-notch magicians are no match for him. Amidst the chatter, Lacuna Wagner steps onto the floor. Slipping off his jacket, he declares, allow me to start off. Maisel watches, confused by Lacuna's confident demeanor. Lacuna begins his incantation, his voice low and focused, squirming earth, maneuvering stone. He continues shield protection, then turns to the host. Lord Namurai, could you please open the doors to the courtyard? As the doors swing open, a torrent of rocks and pebbles flies into the hall at his command. With a final shout of stone authority, the rocks coalesce into a formidable spinning barrier around him. Maisel and his companions watch the display. Larsa looks on, her expression filled with worry for her brother. She grips his arm tightly. Big bro. Lacuna stands ready within his fortress of stone. I'm ready, please start, he yells. Maisel simply clicks his tongue in response. General Garland raises his hand, officially starting the match. Magic duel, first attacker Lacuna Wagner, begin. The golem's optical sensors flare to life. Instantly, the massive machines converge on Lacuna, fists raised to strike. Lacuna scoffs, completely unfazed. HMPH. A golem's fist slams into his barrier, but the swirling stones hold strong, absorbing the impact. With deft control, Lacuna masterfully repels every blow the golems throw at him. Larsa gasps in amazement while Ira exclaims, he repelled that magic golem's attack using only stones. Ira notes the rougher style of magic, but Larsa is captivated. I never thought magic control could be that beautiful. Maisel, however, has a different take, harsh. The golems press their advantage, attempting to crush Lacuna's stone defense with brute force. A guest cries out in alarm, the Wagner family's son is surrounded. But Mad-Eye smirks knowingly, you people don't understand anything, the true magic of Lacuna is. Suddenly, a loud crash echoes through the hall. Lacuna bursts from the rubble, turning his defense into a devastating offense. Mad-Eye finishes his thought with satisfaction, counter. A golem's arm, completely shattered, clatters to the floor. Even Maisel seems slightly impressed by the move. General Garland is utterly floored. Ridiculous, one of my magic golems got destroyed. A golem made of orichalcum, strong against physical and magic attacks, was so easily defeated. Composing himself, Garland pats Lacuna on the shoulder. That was some amazing magic, thank you. His eyes then shift, locking onto his next target. He turns to Maisel. Next is your turn, Maisel Loran, are you ready? Maisel's expression is calm and resolute. Yes. Larsa is practically vibrating with excitement. I'm looking forward to Big Brother's magic now, this hall will surely be blown away, Ira nervously tells her, that's a bit much. General Garland lets out a dismissive, HMPH. He looks down on Maisel. Then, the reincarnated owner of the admired great philosopher, let's see what you've got. With a roar, Garland gives the command, begin. The remaining golems activate, their eyes glowing with menacing light. One lunges forward, its massive fist aimed directly at Maisel. In the blink of an eye, Maisel vanishes. The golems, unable to stop their momentum, crash into each other with a deafening clang of metal. The crowd shouts in confusion, he disappeared, no, he's up there. Maisel flips gracefully through the air, soaring above the clumsy machines. Princess Milan watches, her composure broken by shock. What? He lands perfectly on a golem's head, not making a sound. The disrespect shown to his family flashes through Maisel's mind. If it was just me, fine, but they treated Larsa and father unfairly. I need to pay them back. He springs into action, using one golem as a vault to kick another. He finishes his thought as he drives his fist into a golem's torso. It won't be a big deal. The resulting shockwave obliterates the machine and sends cracks through the others. In an instant, all the remaining golems are reduced to a pile of scrap. An eerie silence falls over the entire ballroom. Maisel looks around, genuinely confused by the dead silence. Lord Wagner and his son Lacuna are frozen, practically steaming from the sheer shock. Madnai and Ira are completely speechless. General Garland is sweating profusely, his face a mask of pure, unadulterated horror. Maisel breaks the silence, looking utterly lost. What? The crowd finally finds its voice, erupting in a wave of disbelief. He decimated all of the magic golems, with just his bare hands. The reality of the situation dawns on Maisel. By any chance, did I overdo it? Before he can process it, Madnai and Larsa tackle him in a celebratory hug. His father beams with pride. You're surely the great philosopher, magnificent, Larsa cheers, as expected from Big Brother. You're the best, the peak, the strongest. Amid the praise, Maisel glances over and notices something is wrong. He sees General Garland kneeling on the floor, shrouded in an aura of despair. General Garland. The general is lost in his own world of financial ruin. 100,000 gold coins, 5 golems, gone, ha ha ha. Maisel turns to his father, concerned. Father, is this okay? Do we need to pay compensation? Princess Milan intervenes smoothly. There is no need for that. The Wagners also said nothing. She glances at the now empty rice bowl on a nearby table. Turning back to Maisel, she offers a compliment. Nevertheless, that was magnificent magic. She then gracefully extends her hand towards him. Madnai quickly nudges his son. Maisel, invite her highness to a dance, don't make her wait. Flustered Maisel stammers, shall we dance together? Princess Milan smiles warmly, taking his hand. I would be delighted. As they dance, she asks, by the way, Maisel, is rice the specialty of the Loran territory? He proudly replies, yes, the porridge, it's very delicious. Maisel beams, I'm honored, I think father will be happy too. The princess gives him a knowing look. Is that so? I'm happy to hear that. As the dance concludes, she lets go of his hand. Then, I'll take my leave. I'll be scolded if I keep those ladies waiting. From the sidelines, Larsa and Ira watch with unconcealed jealousy. Milan leans in close and whispers, also, thank you for the good memory, leaving a bewildered Maisel behind. Seeing her chance, Larsa rushes forward, calling out, Big Brother. She grabs his jacket, pouting, Maisel, dance with me. Maisel is immediately swept away by his crying sister. Larsa has been waiting the whole time, she sobs as he tries to comfort her. While the siblings have their moment, Princess Milan approaches Madnai with a serious expression. She gets straight to the point. Tonight's rice dish, it originally wasn't supposed to be porridge. I just happened to overhear, she adds with a sly look. She assures him, I will also investigate the scoundrels behind all of this. Madnai can only offer his thanks. But Lord Loran, she continues, you've raised the great philosopher splendidly. I tried a rice dish I've never tasted before. Furthermore, I became interested in the Loran territory. Madnai is confused. What do you mean? Princess Milan smiles. It means I'd like to disturb Count Loran's territory a bit. Madnai's jaw drops in shock. Wah. Maisel, overhearing the princess's declaration, feels a familiar sense of dread wash over him. Maisel's journey continues, now escorting a royal carriage towards the Loran territory. Inside, Maisel feels the awkward tension in the air. He turns to their new companion, Princess Milan Amis. Is it all right for you to ride in the same carriage as us? Larsa and Ira listen in, just as curious. Princess Milan studies them with a thoughtful expression. There's something different, huh? The journey with the princess is just beginning. Milan clarifies her thought. It's the tone of speech. I wanted to talk a lot more casually, she explains to a confused Maisel. Leaning in, she makes a request. First, I would like you to change the way you address me. Your Highness Amis is too formal. Maisel sweats, completely flustered. That's no good, right? Then how about Your Highness Milan? He tries again, dropping the title, Milan, but before the princess can respond, Ira shouts, what? Ira objects passionately. I wanted to be called Milan, Princess Milan, how about Princess Milan? The princess lets out a sigh. With a deadpan look, she points out the obvious. Isn't that more formal? Ira's argument completely deflates. Larsa, trying to be helpful, jumps in. Larsa, that was unexpected. Princess is hard to approach. There are a great number of men who would like to get closer to someone as beautiful as Princess Milan. No. Milan smirks, unfazed. It doesn't bother me. Although I didn't expect a man like the great philosopher to say something like that. If we were a bit closer, you might be called a player. Larsa, completely missing the point, blurts out, what do you mean? Big Brother, do you like women who are 1 year older than you? Suddenly, a knight on horseback appears at the carriage window. What's going on, Tart? The knight Tart delivers a grim warning. There are bandits, Your Highness, so please don't come out of the carriage. Milan peers outside, intrigued rather than scared. Bandits, where are they? She scans the road ahead, seeing nothing. A screech from above answers her question, as wyvern-riding bandits descend from the sky. Their leader announces their arrival with a crazed grin. "We're the Huryu bandits, hand over the princess of the Amos kingdom and all your money." On the ground, Tart calmly notches an arrow. She glares up at them, her bow ready. "You bandits, better leave before you get hurt." The bandit leader just laughs. "Ha, bring it on." He gives the order to attack. "We'll see who'll get hurt instead." Tart springs into action, shouting orders to her knights. "Anti-aerial squad, defend." A volley of arrows flies towards the sky. But the bandit leader effortlessly weaves through them. "Y'all won't succeed." He signals for his men to dive. "Fellas, teach him a bigger lesson." The convoy is thrown into chaos as the bandits' arrows rain down upon them. The leader swoops down, targeting Tart directly. But just as he's about to strike, a blade intercepts his attack. Manhwa Lord Loran has entered the fray. Manhwa pushes the beast back, chiding the knight. "Even if it's just a wyvern, you can't underestimate it, Ms. Knight." Tart retorts, "I wasn't underestimating it, but if you're in this kind of situation." The commotion draws attention from the carriage. Maisel steps out, his eyes immediately locking onto the flying creatures. "Aren't those wyverns?" Manhwa and Tart are shocked to see him out in the open. Maisel just calmly asks, "Tart, are you okay?" He looks at the struggling guards. "It seems that everyone's tired of guarding the carriage, so I'll help out. Please don't force yourself." He casually takes a spear from a nearby guard. Standing beside Manhwa and Tart, he makes a simple, terrifying declaration. "Then, I'll defeat them." Tart does a double take, completely baffled. "I'm thankful, great philosopher. Wait, what?" Maisel ignores her confusion and addresses the guards. "Everyone, please brace yourselves for a bit. Bend down, okay?" He stands alone, calmly facing the descending wyverns. Tart can only watch in disbelief. What is that kid doing? The bandits see him as an easy target. "Boss, now's our chance, it's just a kid." Maisel takes a slow, deliberate breath. He pulls back his fist, gathering an immense, unseen power. With a single punch thrown at nothing but air, the ground itself trembles, shocking the knights. An impossible vortex erupts from where he stood, a massive tornado that rips through the battlefield, sucking the bandits and their wyverns out of the sky. Everyone stares in utter disbelief. Frey recognizes the legendary spell. "This is the famous disaster magic, Tornado Crisis. Am I dreaming?" Manhwa grins. As expected from Maisel, the great philosopher. A short while later, the bandits are all tied up. Their leader can't process what happened. "Damn it, it's absurd to be able to produce a tornado like that." His own men quickly throw him under the bus. "It was you, boss, that's right." Larsa watches the scene, amused. "Good grief, it's really ironic how bandits are talking about common sense." The bandits overhear Larsa mentioning Maisel can do this whenever he wants, and they collectively freak out. "Is that guy a demon?" With the bandits captured, Manhwa turns to the princess. "Your Highness, may I take a small detour?" He points to a distant castle. "This is the Cutter territory, so we need to report and hand over the bandits we captured." Milan nods. "Yeah, that's fine." They soon arrive at Cutter Castle. There they meet the local lord, Baron Hyge Cutter, who is shocked to hear about the wyvern riders. He apologizes profusely for the danger, but Milan waves it off. "It's all right. It could be said that I was lucky since I was able to see the great philosopher's magic again." As they walk, the Baron explains that monster and bandit attacks have been unusually frequent lately. They gather around a map to discuss the problem. Manhwa suggests they'll have to rethink their route through the mountains and possibly request aid from the Adventurers Guild. The others agree but note the distance is a major issue. Someone mentions, "If only we could build a tunnel through Cutter territory as a relay." Hearing this, an idea begins to form in Maisel's mind. A tunnel. Later that night, Maisel slips away from the castle. He finds a massive, solid cliff face blocking the path. This is a nice spot. He settles into a low stance. Taking a deep breath, he begins to concentrate. He focuses all of his power into his open palm. His internal monologue reveals his process. Focus, activate the cells and enclose the mind, refine its power. Under the pale moonlight, a cataclysmic explosion shatters the mountainside. When the smoke clears, a perfectly carved, impossibly large tunnel has been bored straight through the mountain. Maisel stands at the entrance, dwarfed by his own creation. He looks back at his handiwork with a proud smile. "There you go." The morning peace is shattered as Baron Hyge Cutter bursts into the room, looking completely frazzled. This is terrible." He interrupts Maisel and Princess Milan, who are having a quiet meal. Princess Milan looks up, annoyed. "What's wrong with you so early in the morning?" The Baron quickly apologizes. "Sorry for disturbing you, Your Highness, but a terrible thing has happened." He leads the entire group, including the Cowhorn Destroyer guards and Milan's knights, to the site of the disturbance. They all stand in stunned silence before a perfectly carved, massive tunnel leading into the mountainside. The Baron can't believe his eyes. This tunnel was finished in just one night. Ash's eyes sparkle with excitement. This is the legendary engineering magic Midgard Schlange. Princess Milan turns to the Baron, skeptical. "Seriously, in just one night?" He simply nods yes. Immediately all eyes snap towards Maisel. Ira points accusingly, right, Mr. Great Philosopher. Maisel flinches, trying to play dumb. Why'd you ask me? It's impossible for me to dig a tunnel in just one night, but Ira sees right through him. You say that, but your eyes say otherwise. You're too easy to read. The Great Philosopher can't lie, that's one of your charms. Ignoring Maisel's feeble protests, Baron Hyge explains the tunnel's strategic importance. This tunnel leads to the Namurai territory, and there's another one to the Loran territory. This is a monumental achievement. As they begin to walk through the massive passage, Madnai laughs, haha, you can't hide it anymore, Maisel. Ash, eager for adventure, looks around. Seeing this kind of hole tickles my urge to explore, but there's nothing in this tunnel. Maisel suddenly stops the group. That reminds me, while I was digging this tunnel I noticed something. The adventure is just beginning for the greatest philosopher and his crew. He leads them to a dead end deep within the mountain. Madnai asks this is a dungeon, Maisel confirms yes. They stand before a rough, unassuming wall of solid rock. Maisel turns to the others with a calm expression, please move back a little. With a powerful shout, he drives his fist into the stone wall. The rock face shatters and crumbles away, revealing a massive, ornate set of ancient doors hidden within the mountain. Maisel pumps his fist, a triumphant look on his face. It's really there, yeah, just as I expected. Katlia steps forward, her eyes gleaming with excitement. Well, now it's the elder sister's turn to shine. When it comes to dungeons, it's the adventurer's work, she exclaims, thinking of the dangerous monsters and priceless treasure that must lie within. Arrow grins, intrigued by the challenge. Interesting. They quickly form a plan. Maisel turns to the older men. Can you and Baron Hyge please report this to the guild? They probably won't believe me. Milan's knight, ever the protector, suggests, Your Highness, let's head back to the town. But Princess Milan is captivated by the thrill of the unknown, a smile playing on her lips. My heart is racing. With the decision made, the exploration party steps into the darkness of the dungeon. Inside they marvel at the architecture. Arrow notes, crazy, the structure is surprisingly strong. Katlia adds, this one's like a cave, I saw it in a book. Suddenly, Ash's head whips to the side. He spins around, senses on high alert, there's something coming. A low, menacing growl echoes from the corridor ahead, as a massive, chained paw slams onto the stone floor. Out of the shadows emerges a monstrous, two-headed demonic dog, its red eyes glowing with malice. The Cowhorn Destroyer guards ready themselves, their faces grim. Princess Milan and the others stare in shock at the formidable beast. Only Maisel seems completely unfazed by the terrifying creature. An Orthros, he says casually, it's an easy opponent. While Larsa beams with pride, the rest of the party screams in unison, how is it easy? Princess Milan refuses to be intimidated. Nevertheless, we can't just stand by and watch. She rallies her knights, preparing to launch the first strike. Use this attack as the starting point. But before they can move, the Orthros' fur stands on end as it begins to gather immense magical energy. Ash panics, it's charging up. Katlia desperately shouts to their mage, Frey, use any sort of magic. I forgot the spell to defend against a magical beast's flames. As the beast prepares to unleash hell, Maisel calmly raises a hand and utters a single word, begone. The Orthros' devastating flame attack instantly dissipates into harmless puffs of smoke. The beast is left confused and Katlia can only whisper, what? Frey's jaw drops in utter awe. That's the legendary counterattack magic that retracts all attacks and blocks the opponent's movement. Ultimate counter, I never expected to see it in person. Seeing their chance, she yells, now's our chance, let's go. The party surges forward to attack the stunned monster. The guards and adventurers unleash a flurry of strikes on the defenseless Orthros. They overwhelm the beast with a perfectly coordinated assault. With a final heavy thud, the two-headed monster collapses to the floor, defeated. Katlia catches her breath, still processing what happened. We did it. The entire party looks on, exhausted but victorious. Frey leans over, panting, but we're still on the first floor and there was already a magical beast. I'm beat. Ash agrees we might need a healer. Maisel smiles and steps forward once again. Then, let me heal you. A gentle light washes over the party. Katlia is amazed, my wounds are healed. Ash feels his strength return, even my fatigue is gone. Frey is once again starstruck. This is the legendary treatment magic, dear Grand. Princess Milan feels completely revitalized, while Larsa notes a pleasant scent. Maisel tries to downplay his god-tier ability, insisting it's sweat. The party stares at him, completely dumbfounded by his power. Maisel quickly changes the subject. Let's move on. I sense there aren't many monsters ahead, so we can proceed. Following his lead, they soon arrive at another massive door. Katlia recognizes it instantly. This is the boss room. With a heavy creak, the ancient doors swing open. They step inside a vast, empty chamber. Maisel looks around, confused. There's no one here. His eyes fall on a suit of armor lying in a heap on the floor. Suddenly, the pieces of armor begin to rattle and shake. With a clang of metal, the armor assembles itself, rising as a formidable silver knight. Katlia shouts in alarm, a silver knight. The animated armor stands ready for battle, its empty helmet fixed on the intruders. Without warning, the Silver Knight charges, sending the party scrambling for their lives. As everyone panics, Maisel watches with a serene smile. It's an easy opponent, right? His terrified party members scream back, how the hell is this easy? Deep in the dungeon, the party comes face to face with the final boss, a hulking, silent Silver Knight. Maisel prepares to step in, but a hand stops him. Katlia and the others step forward, determined. Great philosopher, hang back. It's not cool if we always rely on you. This thing resists physical and magic attacks, but if we work together. Larsa grips her staff, eyes gleaming with resolve. This is my chance to finally get recognition from Big Brother. Milan begins her incantation, weaving a protective spell. Light particle symbolizing garment color purest of white, radiant protection, luminous dress. Larsa unleashes her own magic, trembling green, powerful dancing wind, raging blade, in teleporty. With their buffs active, Katlia roars the command and the entire party charges as one. Let's go. Frey is the first to attack, summoning a massive beast of fire, Flame Hound. The fiery creature barrels towards the Silver Knight. The knight doesn't even flinch, simply raising its massive shield to intercept the attack. The Flame Hound smashes against the shield, its power completely negated. Seeing the opening, Katlia lets out a war cry. She lunges forward, sword raised high for a powerful strike. As the knight pivots to counter her, Ash slides in low, tossing a device at its feet. He whispers the name of his tool, Steel Trap. With a loud snap, the trap clamps onto the knight's ankle, immobilizing it. Katlia grins, nice work, Ash. She brings her sword down with all her might. But instead of cutting through, her blade meets unyielding metal. With a sickening crack, her sword shatters, the force throwing her backwards. Wah. As Katlia stumbles back, Arrow takes his position. His eyes narrow with focus. He unleashes a storm of magical projectiles that converge on the trapped knight. Now, a massive explosion rocks the boss room, engulfing the Silver Knight completely. Thinking they've won, the party cheers, all right. But Maisel's eyes widen, he senses it's not over. As the smoke begins to clear, a strange, ominous light emanates from where the knight stood. Katlia, still on the ground, realizes their fatal mistake. Crap. The very floor of the dungeon begins to crack and shatter under immense pressure. A wave of raw, untamed magic erupts from the ground. The party is thrown about by the shockwave, crying out in pain. As the chaos subsides, Arrow shields his eyes from the dust. He looks around confused. It's quiet, what the hell? Milan stares ahead in disbelief. This is. Standing before them is Maisel, who has single-handedly erected a massive wall of stone from the dungeon floor, shielding them from the death blast. Katlia looks up at the impossible structure, a wall formed from the floor. Maisel turns to them with a calm smile. A Silver Knight unleashes all the magic in the room when it dies. Luckily, I was able to prevent it. Larsa and Frey stare, shaken. We were saved by the great philosopher again. Frey admits I was completely careless. With a heavy thud, the spoils of their victory appear. A massive treasure chest, proof that they have cleared the dungeon. Maisel gives them a reassuring smile. I only helped at the very end. This treasure chest is a clear sign that this victory belongs to all of you. His words lift their spirits, and the entire party beams with pride and relief. Meanwhile, back at Cutter Castle, a group of rowdy adventurers are causing a scene. A man named Mustache, backed by his crew, the Bearded Men, yells at Baron Hyge. What will us adventurers do if you make a tunnel? The Baron tries to placate him. Calm down, Mustache, the great philosopher will be here soon, but Mustache scoffs, so what if he's coming? Just then Mad Eye walks in, I'm back. Maisel follows right behind him and Mustache, not knowing who he is, continues his rant. Hey, I don't care if he's the greatest philosopher. Maisel just looks on, completely lost. Baron Hyge has had enough, bringing his fist down on Mustache's head. That's rude, Mustache. Mad Eye ignores the chaos and turns to Maisel. So how was the dungeon? Maisel happily presents a mountain of treasure. It dropped a lot of items and resources. The Bearded Men's jaws drop. He continues, there were trolls, an Orthus, and even a Silver Knight. Baron Hyge is stunned. This kid, he. The Bearded Men are speechless, realizing the kid they were just mocking cleared one of the toughest dungeons. Mustache's expression shifts from anger to pure, unadulterated awe. He grabs Maisel's hands, tears streaming down his face. Elder brother, we, the Bearded Men, devote our lives to you. He confesses, I was a fool. I was just worried about losing my job as a guard. I threw a tantrum without knowing anything about you. He bows his head, sobbing. Regardless, I'll return this favor, elder brother. Maisel is just completely bewildered. Mad Eye claps him on the shoulder, laughing. Another tale has been made, Maisel, the great philosopher. Come on, let's go home. From a distance, Princess Milan watches them go, a blush on her cheeks. Later, the group arrives in a bustling town, with a grand castle overlooking it from a hill. This is the town where the great philosopher was born and raised. It's a peaceful place, where merchants are generous. Children play freely in the streets. And the elderly can rest without a care. As they walk, Milan smiles. It seems everybody is cheerful and the town overflows with warmth just like the name Maisel. Maisel looks away, embarrassed. Princess, that name is a bit much. A local shopkeeper spots them. Maisel. He rushes over with a piece of fruit. Please take our fruit of pride, it's extra delicious today. His eyes then land on the beautiful woman next to Maisel. And who is this beside you? Milan gives a graceful smile. I'm Milan Amos, nice to meet you. The man's brain short-circuits for a second. Amos, ah. The realization hits him like a lightning bolt. What? The princess of Amos Kingdom. In an instant the townspeople swarm her, offering gifts of food, clothes, and local treasures, completely overwhelming the princess. Through the crowd a couple of kids wave. Maziel, hey. Maisel recognizes his childhood friends, Mobman and Negami. He asks them what's with the crowd. Mobman explains the princess of Amos is here. Hearing them, Milan turns her attention away from the adoring crowd. She gracefully makes her way over to Maisel's friends. Are you guys Maisel's friends? She asks warmly. They stammer, why yes, it's a pleasure to meet you, your highness. Milan smiles kindly. You don't need to be so formal. Since you're Maisel's friends, you're my friends as well. She leans in, making everyone blush. Please, feel free to call me Milan, okay? Negami whispers her name in awe, Milan, but Mobman panics. Hey, that's not allowed. Milan gently takes Negami's hand. That's right, I'm Milan, nice to meet you. With her natural charm, the princess effortlessly wins over everyone she meets. Maisel watches from the side, impressed. The princess is amazing. She captured the hearts of the entire town in an instant. Milan glances back at him, a soft smile on her face as she thinks, he really is someone overflowing with charm. Tart, her knight, nudges Maisel. Her highness would be honored if you said that to her directly, but Maisel panics. No way, I'm just a kid and we're not even that close. Tart simply states the obvious, but you're the great philosopher. Elsewhere in the shadows, a sinister meeting is taking place. A cloaked figure gets a report from his subordinate. How is it? It's ready, all right. The leader lays out the plan. The target should return to Kaiser after a few days. We'll make our move then. He gives a chilling order. We'll finish the job outside of the great philosopher's reach. The leader addresses his shadowy army. Make no mistakes. In unison they reply, as you wish, sir. A dark plot begins to unfold, aimed directly at the princess. In the Loran territory, it's time for Princess Milan to depart. But Milan isn't ready to leave. I still want to stay here. Besides, there's a crisis in this country, right? Her knight Tart is firm. I can't allow that, your highness. Maisel sees them off, offering a kind invitation. Since there's a tunnel now, please come and visit us again. I will take you up on that offer. Milan looks at her new escorts with a hint of doubt. So, are you sure it will be okay if you're the ones guarding me? Her new guards, the self-proclaimed bearded men, strike a ridiculously heroic pose. Everything will be fine if you just leave it to us. One of them boasts, please look at our beard magic. Whether it be thieves or monsters, will triumph easily. Milan is less than convinced. I'm getting worried. As Maisel watches them go, he tries to reassure himself. Our beard magic is completely flawless. All will be okay, we're confident. But a nagging doubt creeps in. I hope you're not overestimating yourselves. His smile fades, replaced by a flicker of concern. He watches Princess Milan's carriage roll away, a strange feeling settling in his gut. He narrows his eyes. Is it just my imagination? The journey begins under the watchful eyes of the bearded men. Soon enough, Princess Milan's carriage arrives in the Cutter territory. As they disembark, Tart remarks, this tunnel is really convenient. We would have only just arrived at Kaiser by now. Milan is greeted by Baron Hige. Forgive me, Baron, for coming here again on such short notice. The Baron is delighted. Your Highness, it's an honor to meet you again. He continues, everybody is delighted to see you, so please take your time. The townspeople, along with Larsa, welcome her warmly. Night falls and a quiet stillness settles over the castle. Inside her chambers, Princess Milan rests. But her sleep is restless, and she suddenly jolts awake. Sitting up, a chill runs down her spine. What is this uneasy feeling? Her eyes dart upwards as a shadow falls over her. An assassin lunges. Milan throws herself aside just in the nick of time. The attacker's blade sinks deep into the mattress where her head was moments before. The cloaked figure clicks his tongue in annoyance. You're awake. Milan glares back, demanding, who are you? The assassin sighs, brandishing two daggers. You're only delaying the inevitable. Milan's eyes narrow, her mind racing for a way out. She lashes out with a kick, creating a precious moment of separation. Scrambling for the door, she screams, Guard, what are you doing? But the guard posted outside her room is slumped against the wall, completely still. Milan stares in disbelief. He's asleep. With no help coming, she realizes she's on her own. She begins grabbing anything she can find, hurling objects at the advancing assassin to keep him at bay. The assassin calmly deflects her makeshift projectiles, closing the distance. He corners her, his voice cold. Don't look at me with that grim look. I'll kill you instantly so you won't feel pain. Trapped, Milan sees her options dwindling. In a last-ditch effort, she bolts for the balcony, screaming her knight's name, Tart. She reaches the balcony railing, but it's a dead end. The assassin appears behind her, his glowing eye visible in the dark. He looms over her, raising his dagger. It's over. Suddenly a new voice cuts through the night. Your Highness, what's going on? It's Tart, sword drawn and ready. Milan's face floods with relief. Tart, you're all right. Tart nods. Yes, I somehow managed to stay conscious without falling asleep. Her words hang in the air, implying this was no normal slumber. That's when Milan notices a dark stain on her knight's trousers. Your knee. Tart dismisses the injury instantly. It's not a big deal for me. She steps in front of Milan, her blade ready to meet the assassins. With a fierce cry, Tart lunges forward. A single clean strike cuts the assassin down, his body thudding to the floor. Milan watches, breathless. Did we kill him? Tart stares at the body, her expression troubled. Kneeling down, she inspects the fallen foe. That's weird. This is. She pulls back the cloak, revealing not flesh and blood, but the jointed limbs of a wooden doll. Tart stands up, her voice grim. This one's also a wooden doll, this is bad. Just then, a faint sound from inside the room puts them on high alert. Tart immediately takes a defensive stance. Your Highness, please stay beside me at all times, prepare your magic just in case. Milan lets out a gasp of pure terror. Looking up, they see the ceiling is completely covered with dozens, if not hundreds, of identical cloaked figures, watching them with glowing eyes. With a series of heavy thuds, the dolls drop from the ceiling, landing on the floor around them. In seconds, they are completely surrounded by a silent army of puppets. From above, the sheer number of assassins is overwhelming, trapping the princess and her knight in a sea of black cloaks. Tart readies her sword, preparing for the inevitable onslaught. The dolls swarm her from all sides. Tart becomes a whirlwind of steel, cutting through the wooden puppets with expert precision. But for everyone she cuts down, another takes its place. Milan cries out Tart, as her knight takes a glancing blow. Despite the overwhelming odds, Tart continues to fight with everything she has. Now bleeding from her face and arms, she pants, Your Highness, are you safe? Milan can only look at her knight's injuries with worry. Yeah, but Tart, you're. Milan watches, her heart pounding with helplessness. She clenches her fist, frustrated by her own limitations. If only I could use just one attack spell. As another doll raises its blade to strike Tart. A figure crashes into the scene, shattering the wooden assassin to pieces. It's Maisel, flanked by Manhwa and Larsa. It seems that both of you are safe, he says calmly. I've been having this uncomfortable feeling all day. Milan cries out his name, overjoyed at the sight of him. Tart quickly fills him in. Great philosopher, we have to defeat the sorcerer controlling these wooden dolls. Maisel nods. Is that so? He takes a moment to assess the situation. Closing his eyes, he focuses his senses. The sorcerer is. His detection magic spreads through the castle. He scans every room, every hallway, searching for the puppet master. His eyes snap open, locking onto a specific location. Right there. Without hesitation, Maisel rushes forward and slams his fist into a solid wall. Instantly, the entire army of wooden dolls freezes in place. They all collapse into lifeless piles. Maisel explains, that impact penetrated the walls to immobilize the sorcerer, so the wooden dolls stopped moving. Tart is in awe. I'm shocked, so this is the power of detection magic. You found the sorcerer easily while I couldn't even find their whereabouts. But Maisel's expression remains serious. But it's not over yet. Milan is stunned. What? Before their eyes, the broken remains of all the dolls begin to rise and merge, forming a single, enormous wooden golem. Maisel steps forward. Both of you step back, I'll stop it. But before he can act, Larsa unleashes a powerful blast of energy. The colossal doll is completely obliterated, its fragments raining down like wooden snow. Maisel, who is prepared for a massive fight, can only stare in utter shock. Huh. Milan smiles wryly. A counter-attack spell without chanting, splendid as usual, Tart adds. No matter how large it is, a wooden doll is still a wooden doll. With the immediate threat gone, they head outside. Maisel looks around. The sorcerer should be around here. He's surprised to see one of the bearded men holding an unconscious figure. The bearded men, elder brother. Mustache grins. I heard that you ran towards the castle over at the bar. This was the bad guy, right? Maisel confirms, yeah. The group gathers around the captured sorcerer. Maisel looks down at the unconscious figure. For now, let's see what this person has to say. His expression is grim as he realizes the truth. This isn't just about assassinating the princess. The real plot has yet to be revealed. In the fertile Loran territory, agriculture is booming, with golden fields of wheat stretching as far as the eye can see. Madnai returns from the fields, announcing I'm back. His son Maisel looks up and greets him. Without waiting for a report, Madnai grabs Maisel in a joyous hug. Her Highness is safe, right? I knew it. As expected of the great philosopher Maisel, the son I'm so proud of. Maisel thinks to himself, a hint of concern in his eyes. I mean, she is safe, but... Meanwhile, the captured sorcerer is being interrogated. Princess Milan Amis asks coldly, who hired me? The sorcerer just smirks. Well, I wonder who. Milan's patience wears thin. You wonder, Mr. Mustache, please raise his right arm. As Mustache complies, Milan unsheathes her longsword, the steel singing as it's drawn. With chilling calm, Milan states her intention, cutting off your right arm. The sorcerer's bravado falters, a bead of sweat trickling down his face. You must be joking. Milan holds the blade steady, her expression unyielding. If you think so, then do not resist. The sorcerer stares, realizing she is dead serious. Tart steps forward to question him. Was it your magic that put everyone in the castle to sleep? The sorcerer finally breaks, shouting, that wasn't me. I was just a contract killer for the Assassin's Guild. I don't know anything else. He elaborates, I was just told to kill her with the wooden dolls they gave me. Larsa watches thoughtfully, murmuring, so the Dark Guild is this thorough. Mustache scoffs at the captive. Actually, why am I telling all this to a dumb brat? Whoa there. Before he can reveal anything important, Maisel appears out of nowhere, clamping a hand over Mustache's mouth and silencing him. Maisel pats the now sleeping Mustache. The princess is safe and sound, so that settles it. I'm getting sleepy again. He then turns to the sorcerer. Hey, so, those dolls combined into a giant doll at the end, was that your magic too? The sorcerer looks confused. They combined? What are you saying? Maisel presses him, so you used what you were provided without knowing what you were doing. The sorcerer smirks, trying to regain some leverage. I may have known a thing or two. Maisel's expression brightens instantly. Then your crime will be considered even worse. Thank you, I learned a lot from you. The sorcerer is left utterly speechless, completely outplayed. Maisel then turns to the conscious guards. Hey Mustache, I was lying just now, I don't know anything. Please give my thanks to the bearded men for their help. Their feats were fantastic. Princess Milan tries to interject, wanting to give Maisel the credit. Wait a moment, the one who helped Tart and I was. Maisel quickly shushes her, giving her a knowing look. As he leaves, Milan understands his plan. It's safer for everyone if the official story is that adventurers, not the great philosopher, saved the day. Later, Maisel and Madnai stand in the wheat fields overlooking the castle. Madnai holds a document, his face grim. Still, this isn't great. Maisel looks up at his father. Did something happen? Madnai explains the bad news. Apparently the Wagner family started growing in a wheat. Their crops yield about 10 times more than ours and the quality is about as good. Maisel is shocked. 10 times more. Madnai recalls how Princess Milan herself had taken a liking to their inné wheat at a recent ball, making it a prime candidate for export to the Amas Duchy. He continues, the only problem is, the duchy will only allow one of us to export to them. They don't want to take any risks. Maisel ponders the situation, realizing the gravity of losing such a contract. Madnai explains how the duchy plans to make their decision. Maisel reads the document in disbelief. A rice contest. Madnai adds another layer to their troubles. It will take place after the harvest. I'm sure our quality can't be beat, but the number of monsters and insects is increasing by the day. Maisel's eyes light up, and that's where we come in. As if on cue, Katlia and her party of adventurers arrive. My lord, we've had a quick look around the area and it's not looking good. She confirms Madnai's fears. There are just too many of them, so many we need the great philosopher's help. Maisel listens, taking in the report. Larsa steps forward, declaring, Father, I'll protect the inné wheat from the monsters here. They need your help, great philosopher Maisel. Frey's party steps up to join the cause. Well then, include us. Ira and her maid also volunteer, as we will also lend a hand. Ash informs them the bearded men are already on their way, will also be going. With his allies assembled, Madnai gratefully accepts their help. Thanks for your help, everyone. Maisel smiles, moved by their willingness to fight for his family's farm. Everyone, thank you. With that, the adventurers mobilize. All across the Loran territory, the battle begins. In the east farms, warriors clash with beast-like monsters. To the northeast, the bearded men fight off swarms of bat-like creatures. In the north, magic users unleash powerful spells. And in the northwest, Ira and her maid hold their ground against giant worms. But the situation is most dire in the south farms. A massive swarm of giant insect monsters descends upon the fields, threatening to devour the entire harvest. The local farmers cry out in terror, what the hell are those things? If they get here, our crops will be ruined. Suddenly a voice rings out, leave it to me, as a figure dashes into the field. It's Maisel, arriving just in the nick of time. The farmers recognize their hero instantly, Mr. Maisel. Taking a deep breath, Maisel begins to gather an immense amount of magical energy, the very air swirling around him. In an instant, he unleashes a devastating tornado that rips through the southern farms. With a final powerful roar, Maisel directs the vortex. The entire swarm of insect monsters is helplessly sucked into the swirling cyclone, their attack completely neutralized. The farmers stare in disbelief. That's the great philosopher's magic, one exclaims, while another adds, that was amazing, it almost looked like a miracle. As the dust settles, Maisel looks toward the horizon, his thoughts turning to his friends. I hope the others are okay. Meanwhile at the West Farms, another battle is raging. Mobman unleashes a powerful firebolt spell against a massive beast. His sister shouts directions from the back line. It's fine, Mobman, elder sister, that monster's weak point is its belly. Mobman confirms he's got it. Another adventurer strikes the monster with a heavy blow. The creature reels from the coordinated assault. Seeing their chance, Negami and the rest of the party rush in to help finish it off. Watching from a nearby tree, Larsa smiles, satisfied. They're doing fine, I'm glad. But his satisfaction is short-lived as something else catches his eye. Peering into the distance, he spots a new movement. Those are. A dark column marches across the fields with a rhythmic thumping. It's a massive army of monsters, moving with unnatural speed and purpose. Larsa recognizes them instantly. They're soldier ants, he observes. The formation looks a little odd though. He quickly realizes their target. They aren't attacking the crops but another type of creature. The ants are swarming large, docile golden scarab beetles. Maisel understands immediately. They're after the golden scarabs. He remembers why they're so important. They help us in the farms, I'm not letting them get hurt. With incredible speed, Maisel had already prepared a countermeasure, sharpening logs into deadly stakes. The soldier ants close in on the terrified scarabs, ready to overwhelm them. The scarabs are completely surrounded, with no hope of escape. They let out cries of distress as the ant army descends. But just as the ants are about to strike, a massive wall of sharpened wooden stakes erupts from the ground, impaling the entire front line of the ant army. Maisel lands gracefully behind his makeshift fortress. All right, he calls out to the scarabs, don't worry, you're safe now. Overjoyed and grateful, the golden scarabs crawl all over Maisel, who can't help but laugh. But his work isn't done. I just need to deal with the soldier ant's nest now. He follows the trail back into the forest, quickly locating the entrance to their burrow. At the entrance he finds a twitching, dying soldier ant. Maisel finds this strange. A dying soldier ant. I was sure there were no natural enemies of these guys in this forest though. He pieces it together. Someone's fighting the queen ant. Wondering what's going on, he ventures into the nest, immediately losing his footing and falling inside. He lands in a cavern littered with the bodies of dead and dying ants. Every ant is either dying or about to die. Hearing the sounds of battle deeper within, he knows something big is happening. He presses forward, realizing he has to hurry. Rounding a corner, he finds a group of adventurers locked in a desperate struggle, their leader shouting, "Give it your all, everyone, we will defeat the queen ant." Before them stands a truly monstrous queen ant, towering over the small party. A black-haired girl leaps forward, striking the queen with her spear. She lands ready for another attack, but her expression is grim. Her powerful blow barely left a scratch on the queen's thick exoskeleton. Maisel watches from the shadows, thinking, I'm not sure they have enough firepower to defeat the queen ant. Without a second thought, he dashes into the fight. I'll help you out, he yells, startling the girl, a kid. Maisel ignores her, clenching his fist. Push all my energy into a single fist. He unleashes his power in a single, devastating punch. The resulting explosion of energy completely engulfs the massive queen ant, obliterating it in a flash of light. The black-haired girl slumps to the ground, utterly stunned and speechless at the display of power. Maisel casually walks up to her. Excuse me, he says, snapping her out of her shock. She looks up at him, her eyes wide with a mix of awe and confusion, thinking one single thought, who are you? With the queen ant defeated in a single blow, Maisel turns to the mysterious girl he just saved. My name is Maisel, and you are. The girl is still reeling from the display of power. He took out the queen of the soldier ants with just one punch, she thinks, before snapping back to reality. Sorry for the late introduction. Flanked by two massive, friendly-looking wasps, she introduces herself. My name is Honey Wasp. These are my best friends and fellow wasps. While Maisel gives a friendly greeting, Larsa and Ira, still hiding, recognize the name. Wait, Maisel, this guy is. Honey Wasp puts two and two together. May I dare to take a guess that you are the great philosopher? Maisel, caught off guard, can only confirm. Yes, I am. Maisel cuts to the chase. I think the farms in Loran's territory are being attacked by bugs now, right? Honey Wasp is stunned. How do you know about that, so it's true? Her expression hardens as she explains the real threat. Any turmoil with insects always involves the Chaos Insect Clan. They use bugs for their evil deeds. As a member of the Insect Clan, I came here to stop their scheme. Maisel nods in understanding. I see, you've helped a great deal, Miss Honey, thank you, she smiles slightly. Just Honey will do, no need for Miss. But their conversation is cut short by a sudden, violent rumbling from beneath their feet. The ground itself cracks and crumbles, collapsing into a massive pit. Maisel's entire party, having finally caught up, can only watch in shock and disbelief. Their faces are filled with horror, as something truly monstrous begins to emerge. Honey Wasp lets out a terrified scream while Maisel stares, wide-eyed. Those are. Two colossal, flying centipedes burst from the ground, their armored bodies blotting out the sky. The Chaos Scolopendra giants have arrived. On a nearby cliff, a boy in a red hood smirks. I'm surprised you took out the queen ant, but that's as far as you'll go. You got so full of yourself being called the great philosopher. I'm gonna put you in your place. With a sharp whistle, he commands his pets. Let's go, Chaos Scolopendra Gigants. Honey Wasp is panicking. I can't believe they have a thing like that. But Maisel remains silent, his eyes locked on the enemy. The boy in the hood looks on, confident in his victory, but Maisel isn't about to let him get away with this. The sheer scale of the monsters is overwhelming, dwarfing Maisel and Honey Wasp completely. Maisel takes his stance, clenching his fist. Aim for the joints. Well, I don't have to aim, I'll hit it anyway. There, he unleashes a devastating strike. A wave of pure physical force, looking like a blade of energy, slices through the air. It tears directly through the massive centipedes. The monsters are instantly diced into pieces, much to their master's horror. Wah what? The severed parts begin to crackle and burn. The red-hooded boy completely loses his cool. You're kidding me, what the fuck? He stumbles back in terror as his trump card is annihilated. The pieces of the monsters burn away into nothing. The remaining energy erupts in a massive explosion, wiping the creatures from existence. Larsa watches with stars in her eyes, completely amazed. Honey Wasp is just speechless, sweating in disbelief at the power she just witnessed. Maisel casually wipes a bit of sweat from his brow. Phew. Honey Wasp begins to tremble, utterly humbled. She and her wasps immediately perform a doja, bowing with their heads to the ground. I'm so sorry I underestimated you. Maisel is completely flustered by the gesture. Just as things calm down, Maisel's sharp eyes catch something in the distance. He spots the red-hooded boy trying to make a run for it. So there was a bug hiding on his back, he's trying to flee to their hideout. Maisel shouts, I'll catch it. Honey Wasp is quick to act. Quick, Bureaus. Maisel quickly forms a better plan. Hold on, it's a pain to be targeted again and again, so let's just follow him and wipe out their hideout. Understood. He turns to his party. Well then, me and my, wait, he notices one of the wasps is acting strange. Bureaus, the giant wasp, is affectionately nudging Maisel. Honey Wasp giggles. Ahaha, it seems Bureaus wants you to ride it, great philosopher. Just then Madnai, Larsa and Ira finally arrive, completely baffled by the scene. Great philosopher Maisel, what the hell was that? Madnai asks. They are all stunned to see Maisel with a giant, friendly insect. Maisel panics, trying to explain the situation to his brother while awkwardly sitting on the wasp. Big brother, a monster, is attacking. No wait, you see, this and that happened. After a quick and chaotic explanation, Madnai gets the gist. I see, so there are 2 insect clans, we'll follow that kid and destroy their entire hideout. Exactly. Ira and Larsa immediately volunteer to join the fight. Then I'll be going too, and I will too. Maisel is shocked they want to come along. Madnai trusts Maisel completely. As long as Maisel goes with you too, you'll be fine. Please take good care of my lady. Honey Wasp is impressed. That was quick. With the plan set, Honey Wasp gets ready. She summons her entire squadron of wasps. Bureaus, beetle, beater, bite. And with a powerful leap, the entire party takes flight, giving chase. The red-hooded boy flies desperately, trying to escape. Shit. He thinks to himself, what the fuck is with that kid? My creatures were taken out so easily. I need to get back to the village and ask the chief for more bugs. He finally arrives at a secluded village, built into the side of a mountain. As he lands, a calm, chilling voice greets him. You have returned. A sinister-looking old man, the chief, appears. I didn't know you'd fail your mission and come back to me. The boy is stunned. Why, you already know. I was watching over you with bugs, the chief explains. The boy clenches his fist. Then this'll be quick, give me more bugs, that kid's bad news, we have to give it our all. The chief's eyes narrow. He smirks, nice, alright, I shall allow it, however. The chief delivers the bad news. Your job here is done, you were careless and led them right to us. He simply points to the sky, look up. The boy looks up and his face drains of color. What the? Maisel and the entire party descend from the clouds on their wasp mounts. It's them. But the boy's fear quickly turns into a twisted grin. No, wait, this is our chance. He turns to the chief. We can fight them back here, let's get all the villagers together, the chief replies coolly, they're already here. As Maisel's group lands, the boy addresses the emerging villagers. Oh, you already gathered, good, you can lend us a hand. But as he gets a good look at them, his confidence shatters. Hey, these guys are. The chief ignores him, addressing Maisel directly. So, you all are the Chaos Insect Clan. Welcome, Reincarnation of the Great Philosopher. His eyes glint with pure evil, and one more thing. The villagers are revealed to be grotesque, monstrous human-insect hybrids. The chief gives his final command, farewell. Maisel's expression turns deadly serious. Ira screams in terror, eek, why do they look like that? Honey Wasp stares, horrified by the abominations before them. Maisel turns to her, his voice low. Hey honey, are those? She confirms his worst fears. Yes, needless to say, this is a taboo. Maisel understands now. They've stumbled upon something humans were never meant to meddle with. Maisel and his party stand before their next challenge. a horde of forbidden, grotesque abominations born from twisted experiments. Watching the monstrous insect-human hybrids, Maisel turns to Honey Wasp with a grim question. Hey Honey, is turning them back possible? Her reply is swift and somber, unfortunately not. The creatures shamble forward, their only language a chorus of guttural groans. Ira panics, shouting, they're going to attack us, aren't they? Larsa, ever the pragmatist, adds, no matter how many you kill, the result will be the same. But Maisel cuts them off with a single word, wait. He steps forward, placing himself between his friends and the horde. I'll handle this. A cold determination settles over Maisel's face. Larsa looks on, concerned, big brother, but Honey Wasp simply watches, trusting him completely. Let's leave it to the great philosopher. Maisel clenches his fist, his voice low and confident. I'll get this done in a moment. In a blinding flash of white light, the battle is over before it begins. The entire horde of insectoids is instantly disintegrated, their bodies shattering into nothingness against a void of black. With the threat neutralized, Maisel turns back to the girls. All right, I'll go inside, you girls wait here. Ira, Honey Wasp and Larsa all nod in agreement, trusting his judgment completely. Larsa adds a quiet plea, please take care. As Maisel walks towards the entrance of the enemy's hideout, the girls watch him go. Larsa senses a shift in his demeanor. Big brother, he seemed angry, Ira speculates, maybe there's something about the bugs. Inside, Maisel finds a crude laboratory carved into the rock of a cave. The mastermind behind the abominations, the chief, looks up from his research with a weary sigh. Good grief. He glares at Maisel, his voice dripping with bitterness. I can't believe you've already come this far. I feel like all my years of research have just been made worthless. The chief takes a long drink, ranting about his wasted efforts. After so many years of research, I finally managed to create the insect people. He wipes a dusty jar, his monologue continuing. It was supposed to be a way out of those foolish days of hating the great philosopher and living only by the magic he left behind, all ruined by a child. Maisel cuts him off, his expression unreadable. I don't know a thing about that. I don't even remember the great philosopher leaving behind any magic like that in the first place. The chief lets out a dry, humorless laugh. Haha, you say that like you've seen all of it. With a snap of his fingers, he summons his trump card from the shadows. Come forth, bugs. Maisel calmly faces the new threat. Are you the man who attacked our fields with insects? The chief confirms it. You would be correct, however. This one isn't a failure like the bugs or the insect people I used. Maisel remains utterly unimpressed. Is that so? The chief begins to gloat. All you damn brats will die here, and the Chaos Insect clan will settle its score with the great philosopher. But his words are cut short. He looks behind him in disbelief. Huh. Before he could even finish his sentence, Maisel had already moved, his voice echoing in the cave. All those years of research were for nothing. The chief's prized creation is already defeated, smashed into the cave wall in pieces. Maisel cracks his knuckles, his eyes burning with cold fury. And right here, right now, I'm gonna kick your ass. Instead of fear, the chief erupts into manic laughter. Haha, haha, this is amazing. I couldn't even see what the hell was the magic you used. He calms down, a sinister resignation on his face. I wanted to make an insect person out of someone like you, however my fate was doomed from the start, and the few successes I've had are now. Maisel raises an eyebrow. So you're not gonna turn yourself into an insect, huh? The chief scoffs. Out of all things possible, you have such a mediocre idea. He picks up a small vial from his cluttered desk. Well, whatever. A dark liquid drips from his mouth as he finishes his final preparation. The preparations are done. He spits out a glob of black fluid, his body beginning to convulse. He claws at his own throat, choking and gurgling as the transformation takes hold. Maisel watches, his eyes wide with a mix of shock and disgust. The chief's body bloats and contorts in a horrifying display of metamorphosis. A massive surge of dark energy erupts from his writhing form. Maisel braces himself for whatever is about to emerge. The black energy swirls and coalesces into a new, monstrous shape. With a final slam, the transformation is complete. Where the old man stood, there is now a massive, white-armored creature. Maisel sizes it up, so a magic bug. In an instant, the creature lunges, moving so fast it breaks the sound barrier. A sonic boom echoes through the cave as the bug attacks. Maisel analyzes the attack instantly, an attack wave that exceeds the speed of sound. I believe Master called it a sonic boom. But speed means nothing to him. He effortlessly sidesteps the lunge appearing behind the creature. In the end, it's pointless anyway. The magic bug screeches in confusion as Maisel prepares his counter. He winds up, ready to unleash his full power. Huh. Maisel unleashes a devastating flurry of blows, each punch landing with bone-shattering force. The magic bug is sent flying, crashing into the far wall of the cave. The battle is over. The chief's ultimate creation lies broken and defeated. Maisel stands over his fallen foe, his expression grim. With its last breath, the chief spits out his final words of hatred. Doing whatever you want, then dying a selfish death. You're the kind of person I hate the most. His work finished, Maisel emerges from the dark cave back into the light. The girls rush to meet him, their faces flooded with relief. "Big brother, I'm so glad you're safe," Larsa cries out. Ira adds, "That was quick, as expected of the great philosopher." Larsa turns to Honey Wasp. "Honey, can I ask you to stay with me a little longer so I can report back to father?" Honey agrees immediately. With the crisis averted, Maisel announces, "Well then, let's head back to the Loran territory." Back at the estate, Mad greets them warmly. "Welcome back, great philosopher." But Ira is distracted, shouting, "Why is Miss Mesa making tea?" Larsa explains, "Mesa's movements were so elegant, we wanted to see them." Mad smiles. "I have heard many stories about our great philosopher, you shall tell me more when we go back home." He turns to Maisel. "So then, Maisel, can you give us some details about what happened?" Maisel agrees, "Of course." But he hesitates, glancing at Larsa and the others still in their adventuring clothes. The head maid, Mesa, tactfully steps in. "My lady, Miss Larsa, the both of you should change your clothes. Let our great philosopher see how beautiful you two are." After they leave, Maisel smiles gratefully at the maid. "It's hard to talk about something like that in front of those two, so I'm glad they left. Thank you, Mesa." With the girls gone, they can finally discuss the darker details. Madenai listens intently, processing the information. Chaos Insect Clan and insect people. Still, it's hard to imagine that the territory was targeted by them. Maisel explains the gravity of the situation. The story is a bigger deal when he tried to use a tribe there. The Sumanai Mountains are still unexplored. Let's send a letter through the guild. Madenai turns to their guest. "Did you say your name was Wasp?" "I did," she confirms. Honey Wasp quickly clarifies, "I would like to thank you for fighting alongside my children. We couldn't overlook that clan either." Madenai nods. "First of all though, let's all get some rest. The adventurers who lent a hand should be in the guild. Hey Maisel, why don't you show up there?" "Sure thing," Maisel replies. Later, Maisel's party arrives at the bustling Adventurers Guild. Inside, the mood is celebratory, with adventurers clanking their mugs together. Mustache spots them immediately. "Big bro, oh, the great philosopher makes his entrance." The adventurers who fought alongside him bow deeply in respect. "You have my thanks for helping us this time." One adventurer enthusiastically invites him for a drink, but Maisel sweats nervously. I'm still not old enough to do that." Larsa, having returned, steps in to shut them down. "Stop that, I'll get angry." With the room's attention, Maisel addresses the adventurers he trusts most. He makes a formal request. "In the near future, we'll recruit adventurers to go to the village of the insect tribe that caused this whole thing, located in the Sumanai Mountains. I want the cow-horn destroyers and the bearded men to be part of this, only if you want to come." Mustache and his companion listen with serious expressions. A grin spreads across Mustache's face. He slams his fists together, his voice booming through the guild hall. "Of course we're going with you, big bro, we're in even if you say no." Maisel is touched. "Thank you." Honey Wasp, however, has a practical question. "Anyway, so those Sumanai Mountains, where the hell is that?" Maisel's voiceover explains as we see a glimpse of the treacherous landscape. An unexplored area within the kingdom's precarious mountains full of strong monsters. It's even called No Man's Land. But the danger only excites some, as a new voice, Ash, declares, "Heh, I'm just raring to go." And awaiting them in the forbidding Sumanai Mountains is a mysterious new figure, hinting at the trials to come.